Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. Happy Tuesday. Kat, thank you so much for the resub. I've missed you. How are you? How have you been? Also, we've made a stream baby. 9 months. Stream baby friendship. Woohoo. Good morning. I hope you are well. I hope things are good. I am doing good. I had to remember which wool we were using to make these. I remember it was a combination, but I couldn't remember what the combo was. Because it has been a minute since we've done this. But yeah, we are ready to get back into it. I'm hoping to finish this. I'm good, just back at work, unfortunately. Yeah. Did you have some time off? Was it like birthday time off? Because that's exciting. How was it? You're like, damn, back to the grind. Back to the bullshit. Is the audit done though? Have you survived the audit? Is that no longer a problem? Because that was dead. That was painful. That was a painful process. Was off work for my birthday, but also... Oh, right. I forgot that he was having surgery. Yes. No, she doesn't come by the office. No. So it's still ongoing. That's bullshit. That is some bull shrimp. So if you guys forgot, we're making some mushrooms. But we're going to make a little fairy ring of mushrooms. So I'm currently making all of the caps. The little mushroom caps. But as of right now, let me just... I don't know. I was thinking of maybe adjusting the camera. Maybe we still should. Just so it's not trying to autofocus constantly. And then we can... There we go. A bit better. But yes, so... From what I remembered, we need to do probably one more mushroom cap, and then we're going to be working on all of the stems. And then hopefully once all the stems are done, then we can do our greenery. I think we still have enough of this leftover stuff to go over it, because I bought large bags. But I'm a bit concerned about how I'm going to store said things once I open them up. I probably need to get like a Ziploc bag or something. So I'm hoping... Oh, this has a jar. Maybe that would have been smart. I don't think I have a jar big enough for this. Anyway, I think this will still be enough to cover this base, so we shouldn't have to worry about that yet. Hopefully. We'll see. But yeah. So how is Chris doing? I hope his recovery is going well. I thought I ended up putting a little bit back from last time that we had mixed that I hadn't used, but oh, maybe it was that. Might as well mix a bunch because we are needing it for the stems as well. So let's do that first today. I should have just made it louder. Oh, damn. He's still in pain. It's random. Oh, that's frustrating. That's frustrating when it's random pain because then it's like really difficult to predict and navigate that. That's frustrating. Hopefully, knock on all the wood, that it subsides quickly. We're doing our very basic bitch mixing of the floss. Yeah, I used to get ice pick headaches a lot. Ooh, that's like a ugh. That's difficult. I've been having issues where I've been having a lot of like neck tension, but it's been manifesting itself in my like temples, and my temples have been like rock hard. And it's one of those things where I'm like, I'm sure they're not that bad, but I've never paid any attention to my temples that much before, and suddenly I'm like, they're very obvious and I can like feel them. But apparently it's because all of the shitty little muscles on the base of my skull are tight, and then that's causing tightness on the side of my head, which is annoying. But yeah, it's never fun when you like, because there's like certain inconveniences and certain things. I had to stop taking the pill to help me concentrate at work, so it's giving me an accident. Oh no, that's frustrating. That was one of the side effects of it. That's annoying. Have you found like an alternative, or is that kind of the only one right now? And then obviously it's not doing anything for you. The thing is, these two colors are so similar, but I do feel like it makes some kind of a difference. But I feel like if it's not blended, it'll be obvious in the project. I don't know. The alternative would, yeah, that's true. This was like the over-the-counter sort of alternative route as opposed to going the formal way. That's annoying. It'd just be nice if there was like more than one version of this over-the-counter, like natural version that wouldn't require going the medical route, but alas and alack it seems. Perhaps. Okay. Yeah, if we can get... I think I'm gonna go for one of these sort of larger... We did a couple small ones. Maybe this one can be sort of like a medium. If those are large, then maybe this can be like a medium one, but who knows? Let us unsheath the stabber. Oh, this kind of, it's making me paranoid that it's gonna be too much. It should be okay. We won't know unless we try. I've been having a hard time getting out of bed the last few days. I've been like really bad at just like snoozing my alarm constantly. But lately, because the last couple weeks when Liam's been in the office, he's had to work like an early shift. So he's up and like leaving the house at like 5:30 sort of thing. And then that wakes Shadow up. But what Shadow used to do, or would usually do when Liam works late, is when Liam leaves, Shadow would then come into bed, and like even if he just like sometimes he'll snuggle with me, but sometimes he'll come up and jump on the bed and just kind of like lay near me or something, or he'll at least come back upstairs, and then it's sort of like a signal to me like, okay, we need to get up now, because like he starts whining or we like snuggle for a bit and then he's like, okay, we're done snuggling, like it's time to go. But he's just been staying downstairs. So he woke me up at 4 in the morning because he had to go pee. And then he just decided to stay downstairs on the sofa, which is fine because he normally does. But then, yeah, Liam came downstairs, still stayed on the sofa. Liam left, he still stayed on the sofa. So then I'm having a hard time dragging my ass out of bed because I'm like, you know, my backup alarm, which is the actual 4-legged dog telling me it's time to get out of bed. He's just been like chilling and doing his own thing. So it's been difficult for me to get up. Yeah, but it's okay. It's always one of those things where like just because you have the option to sleep in doesn't mean that you should, you know what I mean? So I kept snoozing the alarm because I was like, oh, I'm not awake yet. But then I think because I did that, it was almost like now I stayed in bed too long, and then that sort of makes you feel a bit uncomfortable, at least for me. It's like sometimes, like, too much sleep can be a bad thing, not enough sleep can be a good, like, you know, those can both be bad. Both sides of the spectrum. So I was trying to be like, oh, damn, I should have. But it was okay. But then we went for a walk, like, we normally go for our morning walk after dinner, like, food and stuff. And sometimes, like, I could tell I wasn't awake or I wasn't, like, in the best mood in the morning or whatever. Because usually we go, and, like, Shadow likes to take his sweet-ass time sniffing things, and half the time I don't care. I'm just like, okay, cool. I think the problem was, though, is because the weather said it was like 14 degrees out and it was like all overcast and cloudy, and I was like, damn, like that seems quite cold, I'll put a jacket on. And then the sun came out, and so by the end of the walk I was like grouchy because I was hot and uncomfortable. And then it was like, okay, I'm a bit uncomfortable now, but like let's do the things. And again, I don't think Shadow was sniffing any more than he normally does, but for whatever reason today it just felt like it was every 2 steps we had to stop. And then it was like we stopped for like 5 seconds at a time. And so we were walking down this street, like this road in this little like park, and I swear to God, in like 5 minutes we maybe only went like a couple feet. And I was like, dude, come on now, surely there aren't like, you know, 25 unique smells in this like 2-meter radius. But again, it's like, I'm sure he's usually like that. I was just hyper aware of it because I was like, damn, I don't want this walk to go so long because I'm actually all hot and uncomfortable. But it was okay. He was much better than he was today. Yeah. Of course, right? I know, right? To be fair, it was a bit of pathway that we hadn't walked down in a while. So, you know, shame on me for not thinking, obviously, this is going to cause mass amounts of sniff time. I'm like, obviously, Mom. But yeah, he was alright though. We didn't see the foxes that we normally do. There's usually like 1 or 2 foxes that are in that wooded area, but today we didn't see them. But it was good because today we saw a few dogs and Shadow didn't bark at them, whereas Monday, he was just in a mood. Every single dog that we passed by, he wanted to bark at. And I was like, listen, sir, it's too early in the morning for that. You're gonna wake people up, they're gonna be pissed off. Like, let's not be like this. But he's so selective about when he, like, wants to be in a chatty mood. And so some days he wants to be in a chatty mood, and other days he's like, nah, I'm indifferent. It's like, okay. So, you know, you win some, you lose some. He was, Sir sniffs a lot today, but at least, you know, he was quiet about it. The other thing too on that walk on the Monday, because on the Saturday my friend came over, and then her partner and their son joined us, and Shadow is so sweet around kids, especially because my friend's child has like additional needs and things. So like anytime the baby was sort of crying and stuff, Shadow was like walking over and was sort of like, oh my God, like, is he okay, sort of stuff, and like would check up on him and like sniff him, and every once in a while give him like a little kiss and stuff. But like wanted to be near him all the time. And you know, he was very, very gentle. At one point, my friend went to go put her son down for a nap like up here, and then at one point we heard him crying, and then Shadow raced up the stairs and then barked, and we were like, God damn it, Shadow, like, don't do that, like, he's trying to sleep. The last thing we need you to do is make loud noises to wake him up. But then my friend was like, well, he was crying, and then Shadow barked, and then it almost like shocked him. And like it almost like shocked him out of it, and then he stopped crying. And I was like, maybe good job then, Shadow? Maybe expert babysitting duties, I guess. Which is amazing to see and is really great, but because he was in a little bit of a mood on Monday, we walked past, luckily we're on the opposite side of the street, but there were 2 women with like baby strollers. One was getting put into a car and one was like walking by, and Shadow stopped from the other side of the street and his tail started going, and I could hear him wanting to like bark at them and stuff. And I was like, don't you dare, sir. I'm like, not all the babies are gonna love you. That happened too when we went into the forest and he was walking around and stuff, and then he was off lead and walked up to this mom who was like nursing her kid, and I walked over and like grabbed him because he was like sniffing about and like got, you know, potentially got close, but I got there, and the woman, like, I don't know if like English was her second language or whatever, didn't say anything, but she kind of looked at me like wide-eyed, and I was like, don't worry, I'm steering my massive dog away from you and your child. But yeah, so Shadow loves babies. And he sometimes likes dogs, sometimes is indifferent to dogs. Who knows? Same with cats. I'm convinced that Shadow has like T-Rex eyes. Like he's basically like, you know, in Jurassic Park, when as long as you don't move, the dinosaur can't see you. I feel like that's like with Shadow and cats. So sometimes we'll full on, like I will clock the cat and Shadow's just like in his own world sniffing, not doing anything. Sometimes he'll even look at the cat, but because the cat's just chilling, it's fine. It's as soon as it goes to move, he freaks out, starts barking at it. And I'm just like, it's only because it's moving and it's fast that you also want to go play with it. And so, yeah, Shadow's kind of like a T-Rex in that respect. Shadow's got T-Rex eyesight when it comes to animals, other animals. She also got really upset because my in-laws came over yesterday, and usually my mother-in-law has like a black cardigan that she'll wear over, but it's been so hot and also like so rainy, and so normally ever since he was a puppy, when she walks through the door and has that black cardigan on, the first thing she does is takes it off, and then he steals it and runs away with it, and it's just like this thing that they do. So she sort of set a bad example for him, because sometimes people come in and they got long fluffy clothes on, and he would like to steal them, and sometimes they're still on the body of the human, and I'm like, sir, you cannot be pulling at people's clothes. But anyway, so they come over yesterday, and she doesn't have a black cardigan on. She has like a rain poncho, but of course it's made out of like the water resistant material and stuff, so he can't, like, I don't know if it would tear really easily or whatever, but basically she didn't give it to him. So I was upstairs sorting out the laundry, and I heard them come over, and usually like he gets excited and like I can hear him ruffling about and stuff. At one point he was just full on barking, and I was like, okay, this is weird. You don't normally, like, usually when he barks at you, sometimes it's because he wants to get your attention, or he's like voicing his displeasure of something. So I come downstairs, my mother-in-law is like, I don't have the cardigan. He's so upset at me. And I was like, you done did fucked up then, because obviously he is not happy. He got over it eventually, but he was like, what do you mean I can't eat your outdoor clothes? You always let me do that. And I was like, not today, sir. And he was like, that is some bullshit. But then he got over it, and he was like, okay, never mind, we're besties again. So it doesn't take him long, but he still was like, I need to air my grievances about this. Ran into a woman today on the walk who I guess like has lurchers and greyhounds and whatever, so she asked like, oh, can I pet your dog? And I was like, honestly, he would love nothing more than to be given attention by a random nice stranger. And this lady's chatting, and of course about different kinds of dogs and stuff. So she had her dog that was like a lurcher that they assumed was like maybe mixed with an Irish wolfhound, because sometimes they think that he is, and I'm like, nah, he's just all these other things. But I always feel really awkward because 9 times out of 10, especially because there are like greyhound rescues and things like this around here, and a lot of times when I talk to people, they're like, oh yeah, like I have this dog and they're a rescue and whatever, and they always ask me if Shadow's a rescue. They go, oh, is he a rescue? And then I usually say now, like, oh, we've had him since he was a puppy, which I guess, to be fair, there are puppies that show up in rescue centers all the time. But I'm sort of, I don't know, like I'm trying to kind of imply like, oh, we've had him the whole time, because I don't know what it is, like, because there's different reasons and different ways that people end up acquiring dogs, but there's always this concern or this little pang in my chest that I'm like, are you low-key judging me because I didn't get my dog from a rescue? You know what I mean? I don't know, it's always just something that like feels really uncomfortable for me when they're like, oh, they're a rescue, and then I'm like, I feel like you're judging me if I say that he's not. And then it's also like, okay, this is a random stranger, so I don't know if it's necessary for you to jump into the soliloquy of like, he's my first dog, and so like rescues technically wouldn't give like Liam and I were looking, and we just didn't meet the criteria to rescue a dog, right? Because a lot of times too, it's like, okay, they need 6-foot fences, they have, you know, issues with like they need someone to be home all the time, they don't do well with around certain strangers or around kids, and because we have a nephew and like all these different things, I was like, well, it doesn't really work for that. And I guess, you know, you can sit and wait, you know, there are options of like, okay, these dogs that maybe are puppies or are in situations where it would be like the chances of there being all those lists of concerns are not as high. But yeah, that's just not what happened around the time that we were looking to get a dog. So I'm always like, no. But I'm like, in our defense, we were sold one thing and he ended up being another thing. But if anything, it's like, well, we rescued him from a life of being judged for not being the thing he was sold as. I don't know. But we had to get hypoallergenic ones. Yeah, exactly. You drove 20 hours for both of them. Wow. Yeah, that's, like I said, there's other reasons too why people have to go with specific breeds. But I also, yeah, it's interesting, that conversation, because then I always, yeah, I don't know. And again, I think they're just asking questions, right? To get to know more about the dog. Like, there's like, okay, well, what's his name? How old is he? Like, is he a rescue? Like, that sort of, I don't know. But there seems to be, I feel bad, especially when you hear people like, oh, we only get rescues. So, like, we, you know, I've had multiple rescues and whatever. So what kind of dog is yours? And I'm like, not a rescue? Is that a problem? They still talk about how cute and adorable and wonderful he is. But I'm just like, I don't know. It's like a hang up that I need to, like, get over. But it's always an interesting question, because then I'm like, yeah, I guess you just say no. I can say no, but he wasn't what we were told. But we love him anyway. Gus is a Moyen poodle. And Ella's just a mini, but she's huge, really. That's uncomfortable. I feel like those people are just trying to make themselves switch. Yeah, like that's kind of the vibe that I get a little bit, where it's like, oh, well, we rescue dogs. What kind of dog do you have? And I'm like, I don't know, man. Yeah, it just feels a little bit, like you said, like superior, like a little bit pretentious, even though they're doing an amazing thing. And I'm like, I would have loved to have rescued a dog. Like, I think later on down the line, if we decide we want to get a second dog, we would like to do a rescue dog. But it's like, yeah, it's very interesting. Also, good morning. I hope you have coffee. We rescued 2 dogs before these poodles, and they were amazing. But I was dying. I had runny nose for 15 years. Wow. Yeah. That's the thing, right? Yeah, my brother needed, when he was visiting, he already, like, because he knows he's allergic to cats. I don't know if he has as much of an allergy to dogs. But yeah, we pumped him full of antihistamines while he was here for a week. And even too, my parents are like, they're not as bad. But we always make sure when we have people staying over, it's like, I wash the sheets and I like, you know, like run a thing over it, and just to try to get as much puppy like shadow hair off of it at all times. But obviously, like, it gets to a point where like stuff's just like embedded, you know. But I try to do as much as possible. You should say that you ran into a burning building and rescued him by jumping out the 4th floor window as a puppy. Yeah, right? Exactly. We didn't get him from a rescue, but I rescued him, actually. I rescued him from a life of some bullshit. And now he is treated like a little prince, and he is, you know, given the life he deserves. I rescued him from the potential life of not the amazingness of being our dog. Those very, I really... That's frustrating. I had a friend who was like that, where him and his girlfriend ended up with like a bunch of animals, and I was looking at him and he just had like blood red eyes, and I was like, bro, like, seriously? And he's like, hey man, I'm allergic to them, but I love them. And I'm just like, well, okay, I get it, but also I think that would suck. I thought my reading obsession would calm down, but I feel like it's not gonna happen anytime soon. There's also so much gay hockey romance, I don't know what they choose. Yeah, because you wonder if it happens with any other, I'm sure if there's any other, like sports, like I'm sure there's like hockey or football or like soccer and football ones as well. I think any time it's a group of people of the same gender that are traveling together for extended periods of time, that's just statistics, you know? So it makes sense that that was the genre. Not as many as this one. There must be trends. I'm sure there's like smut trends. There must be. You know what I mean? Like when like the, like, you know, in the early 2000s when like Twilight came out and all the vampire core was like popping off. And then there were probably like paranormal ones. Like there's different phases. So right now it's just hockey. That's so funny though. I love that. I also didn't care about hockey at all, but now I do. That's so funny. You love it. You're gonna like low-key become a hockey expert and people are gonna be like, oh my god, like Kat's super into hockey, like she knows all this stuff, and you can be like, yeah, you can thank author of this book, author so-and-so of the series Hockey Romance #7, pucking around. What a title. I love that. What a title. See, it's also ripe for puns as well. Though I'm sure there's other, like, sexy sport innuendos that are out there. You know what I mean? But, like, maybe the hockey genre is just rife with, like, those sorts of puns. Which, honestly, yeah, that's how I would... My ability to come up with, like, witty, pun-tafic titles for books would be the reason I pick a category. You know what I mean? I'm like, let's pick a genre that allows me to create the most pun-tastic names. That would be how I would run my author business. This was like weeks ago. I took myself to bed early one night because I wanted to start a new book, and I've read the introduction chapter of this book, and have not touched it since. And it stares at me from my side table dresser every time I go to bed at like 11 o'clock. And I'm just like, sorry, book, it's bedtime. Nope, sorry. Yeah, there are a lot of funny ones. That's amazing. Yeah, so I currently have, I've started a new book, but, like, not really. Just trying to form a bit more of a cap space. Double pucked. Yeah, 100%. See, I wonder if, because my mom, we used to call them, like I told you before, where we used to call them half books, because you used to be able to buy, like, Harlequin romances at the grocery store. You probably still can. So she used to pick some of those up every once in a while, but I think she liked more of, like, the historical romance ones. But I don't know if she ever got into the more modern ones, because she likes hockey. Like, she actively follows, like, the hockey season with my dad, and, like, they've been to, like, Oilers games and stuff like that. So I feel like it might have been a missed opportunity for her. Like, that should have been one of the genres she should have gotten into. Maybe she has, and she just, like, not told me about it, because we don't actively have those kinds of conversations. But I should ask her. I should be like, listen. Oh, she went, like, icebreaker. Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I think she's probably more into just, like, hetero stuff. but interesting. Like I'm trying to create a nice curve without making it like I don't know, this is sort of, I don't know if you can tell, but it's like kind of starting to look like a nipple, which is not my intention. It's meant to have a bit more of a like a subtle curve, not like, let's try to fix that. I guess we could stick a bit more on it, but so I recently got myself a, I've been attempting to actually do art, like visual art. And it was really interesting because I was chatting with Liam about this because I basically, you know how how am I going to move these keychains since the cross-stitching doesn't work out. So I had this idea to do like watercolor and like, oh, I guess it's like mixed media where it's watercolor and then like pen line art mushrooms on paper to then be little keychains. And so yesterday I basically watched a bunch of tutorials. I watched like this one woman's how to watercolor beginners series and then like a random techniques video that I found afterwards, and just kind of spent the whole afternoon like dicking around with watercolor paintings and then like actually tested out like drawing, because originally I was just testing out drawing the mushrooms, and then I was like, okay, I think I know how to draw, or like I think I have an idea of sort of the things I want to be drawing, and then it was like, okay, now I got to figure out if I can watercolor, or I have to practice doing that. So practice that, and then I was like, okay, now I got to combine these two things, because in the tutorial I was watching, the woman was like, oh, when you watercolor paint, you know, you can still see the pencil lines on your drawings and like it doesn't erase very well. And I was like, well shit, I'm not freehanding mushrooms, so if I can't use pencil, I don't know what I'm gonna do. But it seems like it worked out okay. But yeah, so hopefully, I was thinking about this, I was kind of kicking myself because I did the schedule for the week and I did 2 felting days and 1 cross-stitching day, and I was like, I probably should have thrown some watercolor in there. But I think because I'm still practicing and still trying to figure out what I'm trying to do, maybe next week I'll bring you guys into my learning process. But on a positive note, it seems like it's gonna work. All my stuff is downstairs, I'll also show you guys, but it seems like it's okay. So we will see. But yeah, so that's exciting. I just, you know, but it was interesting because I was like, I had never touched watercolor pencil, like from legit, like I don't even, like not even painting really. Because then Liam was like, oh yeah, I used to like watercolors. Like in secondary school, I would always, like, that was the one I would use the most because they like wouldn't, you know, it dried a lot faster or whatever he said. And I was like, I never took any visual art classes in secondary school. And like obviously in kindergarten, you know, we had like the giant paint easels, so I would paint in kindergarten class, but that wasn't like for any artistic skill or knowledge, that was just for funsies, right? And then we took, like, you know, we had art classes in elementary school, but it was mostly drawing, like learning what shading was and stuff like that. Like we didn't really do, I don't know, like art in that sort of respect. And then obviously I went to a performing arts high school, so all my arts classes were like dance, singing, musical theater. They weren't visual arts. So like all of this is like new to me. You know, like it's something that I've not ever, like I had little to no experience in, but I'm realizing now that maybe that's like a bit of an anomaly. Like, did you guys take visual art classes in high school? Like, did you take, like, painting classes and, like, color theory and shit? Or was those are probably all, like, electives and things? I don't know. But yeah, Liam was like, oh yeah, watercolors are great. And I was like, cool, I wouldn't know. but I do like them now after, you know, spending all afternoon learning about them. It was really fun because I opened up my little paint kit and all the paints were individually wrapped. So I had to sit there and like unwrap all the paints, and then it looked all fresh and clean, and I was like, this is cute. This is aesthetic as fuck, you know? I took a general art class, but it was an elective. Right, yeah, I think that's the other thing too. It probably would have been like a choice. But, yeah. Because I knew people that took, like, they majored in visual arts. So they would, like, walk around with their big portfolios and things like that. Only got to take art in middle school. So was that mostly drawing, or was there ever, like, different mediums and stuff? I just remember having to... There was one thing, and I don't know if I don't know if it was pastels or something, but we had to do a lesson basically where we took like a picture out of a magazine back in the day when magazines were readily available and people bought them all the time, and cut it like in half. And then we had to draw the other half of the picture, and like that was the lesson that we needed to do. So I just remember because I found this chimpanzee picture in like a Time magazine or whatever. And I remember having to recreate that, and the background was blue. So I just remember like, because we had this big, I don't know, like certain grades had certain walls that they could display stuff on, like in the hallways of the school, in the elementary school. And so I just remember walking by and seeing like this massive monkey. Like I remember visually walking down the hallway and seeing my monkey drawing and like being like, ooh, like it wasn't very good. But yeah, I had a crush on my teacher, so I remember. That's so funny. I remember my friend, like because this is when Grey's Anatomy was really big, so we had the code names. I didn't have crushes on these teachers, she did. So one of them was, she named him McDreamy, and then one of them was McSteamy. But we never had them as teachers, or then we finally did. We had McDreamy as a teacher one year. I don't know if she did. She must have as well, because we were in most of the same classes. And then I think he was no longer attractive after we had him as a teacher. I think it was more like, okay, from a distance, he seemed like a very like attractive person. And then there was like the personality of him got involved, and we were like, nah. Which is very funny. He looked like John Colbert. Oh, no way! Yeah. I see it. Yep. That makes sense. I understand. But yeah, so she'd be like, oh yeah, McDreamy over there. And then I'd be like, okay, sure, whatever. I think your match paper was really hot. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know if I had many there was one. There was my music teacher. He had the best bubble butt. Amazing. That's so funny. He'd like Oh god. Baby cat just being overwhelmed by all her emotions. She's like, whoa. Whoa. And see, I feel like in instances like that, it can go one of two ways. It can be like, you want to be the best student in that class because the teacher is attractive, or the teacher is attractive and it's distracting, so you're actually terrible at the class. Okay. Alright. I don't want to play the near average. I was the best student, lol. That's amazing. Yeah, thankfully I don't think thankfully, no, it wouldn't have mattered, but I don't think I had any teachers that I was like, oh, this is a hot teacher. To be fair, the one that my friend had declared was McSteamy. I do think of all of the teachers, he was the most attractive one, but I never had him as a teacher. He taught, so like in Canada, you have like different levels of schooling depending on like if you want to go to college or if you want to go to university. So he taught the college credit, like, so basically you had like certain numbers of like credits you had to get to, then so there were U credits and C credits. So university credits or college credits, and then you had to have so many of them in order to like qualify to then go to whatever one you wanted to do. So McSteamy was a college level geography teacher, and we were in the university stream, so we never got him as a teacher. But I'm sure it was fine. Okay, I think these are the way we would like them now. So now we got to work on the stems. I'm trying to remember how tall I said I was going to make these. Sort of like, yeah, okay. So sort of like thumb widths high, I guess, possibly. So let's do that. Speaking of mushrooms, guys, I have 2 new emotes. Did you know? Did you know? Did you know? We got 2 new emotes. I found them over the weekend, and I think that they are wonderful. So I have the This Is Fine mushroom emote and the cozy mushroom emote, because I think these are just the 2 moods. Especially because we have a This Is Fine moment quite frequently on the channel. It happens quite a bit. So it felt the best to incorporate that, and then like a nice little cozy one. So yeah, we got some mushling. Hi Bobix, hello, good afternoon. I hope you're doing well. Right, they're super cute. Am I gonna remember the artist? No, I'm not. Let me go look it up right now. Who is the artist that I have purchased these from? From Meow Stream Shop is the name of the artist on Etsy. And they do a bunch of mushroom ones, but those ones spoke to me the most. I was like, we're in a market for 2 more static emotes. So now we got shadows, mushrooms, and tea and ghosts. Which I feel like I was gonna say trifecta, but that's definitely more than 3. So we definitely have enough, all the aesthetics happening in the emotes right now. A nice summation of my brain. So exactly. So thank you so much for the resub, sir. How are you doing? I know you had an evil arm flare up that put you out of commission for a little bit. I hope you're feeling better. I hope so. Because I appreciate you, and I don't like when you're in pain. I don't like when any of you guys are in pain. That makes me sad. No, oh, that sucks. You're still not out of the woods with it, eh? Damn, that's frustrating. I'm hoping you've not, yeah. Yeah, you don't, I know, but yeah. Well, I'm glad you're here, and I'm sorry that you're in tons of pain. I just hope that hopefully you're over the thick of it, and we do no more passing out and stuff. Hopefully all the fingers and toes crossed for you, sir. And I appreciate you being here while we make some mushrooms. Try our best. So we've made all the mushroom caps. Now we gotta make all the stems. And then once we do that, we gotta put the grass on the wooden circle. And then we gotta stick everything down. Whether or not that's all gonna happen by the end of the day, that's why I scheduled 2 streams for this, because as much as I would like to hope that I could finish this by the end of today, usually my time management is terrible, so yeah. but things are going well at least. We have one. I have a little box of all my completed treasures. So we're slowly acquiring stock with which to sell at some theoretical craft show at some point in time. You know, we're in the stock making phase, and once that phase is done, at least, you know, to a degree, then we can implement the find place to sell the things. But luckily there are some, like, I don't know, there's some almost like a collection, like a market that does things all, like, they do pop-up markets. There's like a collective that does pop-up markets all over our sort of area. So I want to reach out to them and figure out how doth one get booth at one of these pop-up markets. But I've not done that yet because, again, it feels weird to be asking questions without having things to sell. The trash market, I literally read it as trash market, and I was like, yeah, actually, though, yeah, kind of. I know, pass out from pain and wake up on the mend. Yeah, pain without tingling. Okay, really? So this is one of the worst ones. That's so bullshit, because I would have hoped that at least, as much as I don't want you ever passing out, if you did pass out, usually that signifies like the peak and then it starts to come back down. But the fact that it's not and it's happened twice, that is not fun. That's really annoying. Your body needs to smarten up and stop fucking around. Needs to smarten up. Like, you got shit to do, places to be, things to see. You know? Life to live. Ain't nobody got time for this. But yes, the trash market. I know that's not what you said, but it's funnier that way. Just go with the funnier, it makes me, yeah. Always. No, you're a fabulous comedian. And guys, see, now I'm not saying the wrong thing, because last week I jumped the gun, but this Sunday, right? This is correct. This Sunday, which is the 30th, I'm going to be over on Saul's channel. I have been invited back. He keeps inviting me back, so I obviously, you know, am not causing too much commotion that's causing me to, you know, never be invited back again. But please go follow Saul if you're not already following him, because this Sunday, me and other famous, wonderful crafting legend Naomi Crafts are going head to head. Isn't it? We're on a show called The Master Debaters. I believe that's what the show is called, where we are going to go head to head with various rounds where we are going to debate our little hearts off. And it's going to be fun. And hopefully it's going to be funny and chaotic and wonderful and whimsical. And you should be there. 8 p.m. UK time. In the evening. So also, that is rife. Because you know my brain shuts off at 6 p.m. So who knows what the hell's going to come out of my mouth after 8 p.m. We don't know. Chaos, probably. Chaos and confusion and hilarity, hopefully. Because it's meant to be comedic. So maybe, hopefully. Got the new set and all the rounds mapped out. Amazing! That's so exciting! It's gonna be good. It's gonna be good, so you're obviously gonna want to be there. It's gonna be good fun. Now, I don't think... Is this thick enough? Oh yeah, okay. I have to add a little bit more, though. The height I want. But yeah, should be good fun. I'm excited. What else am I excited for? Oh, also too, and again, no pressure. So words are hard. Not only do we have 2 new emotes, our 2 little mushroom emotes, we also have 2 new channel point redeems. But again, no pressure. We have nostalgic tier list because I see Saul do tier lists sometimes and it makes me happy. And I was like, I want to do that, but I want to do nostalgic tier lists. So we can do some tier lists together. The other option is, where is it? Where is it? Did I not activate it? Do I have to deactivate it? Where? Oh, there it is. Okay, the new ones. Right. All the new ones are up here. Okay, the newest one for the highest amount of points, it is Throwback Tasha. So I have acquired some childhood photos, some nostalgic Tash photos, if you will. And so if you would like, we can take a little trip down memory lane at a certain point in my life. I'll let you pick. Do you want baby Tash, child Tash, teen Tash, college Tash? And I will hopefully be able to explain the photo or whatever. Tier list and photos. She's like, I know, I'm sorry. But no, my photos are of my childhood self. I didn't know you had childhood photos. You do photos, but it's different. But you're right, I absolutely stole the tier list thing from you. I 100% did. I absolutely did. Oh my god, Teen Tash. Okay. Now let me make sure, did I do this properly? I think I might need to set up a new thing. Let me set up window capture. Maybe? Okay, let's do it. Let's bring up the thing. We need Teen Tasha. Okay. Let's find Teen Tasha. That was 6th grade, so we are not a teen yet. Oh god, that's a real cringy looking one. So they probably have better ones, but... Was I a teenager in this one? I wasn't in high school yet. Yeah, probably this one. Okay. Okay, let's see if we can then do a window capture. Photos, maybe. Now, how do I make this one the window that we want you to see? Should I have maybe figured this out beforehand? Possibly. Did I not? I absolutely did not. Okay, so why is that not working? No. Okay, cancel. That version's not gonna work. What's another option? What's another option? Oh, here, duh. Create new image. Okay. Sorry, this is taking forever. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. I'm gonna do the image file version. I feel bad because this one doesn't have my face in it, but here we go. It's grainy as fuck. Can you guys see that? Can you see that? Yes. Okay, let me explain. Is that chicken? I don't know. Yeah, honestly, so this is a grainy photo. I don't know what this is being taken on. So this is my backyard. Yeah. So I probably, no, you know what it is? I think those are burgers. So I was the resident barbecuer of my house. My mom didn't trust my dad to not burn things. He calls it expertly charred. And so there was many photos. To be fair, they need to send me more photos because obviously it's pissing down with rain in this photo. It's pissing down with rain. And that rain or shine, it's barbecue time, man. Like, that's just what you gotta do. To the point where so my family doesn't do traditional, like, Christmas dinners and stuff. We usually do surf and turf. So we usually have steak. So imagine this whole garden area covered in snow. So probably from, like, my knees would be full of snow. So I would then we'd have to shovel out the barbecue. And so I would then, you'd have to shovel out the barbecue and make a pathway from the back of the house to the barbecue. And then I would barbecue in the snow all the time, every year. It was the thing. But this is obviously me. Yeah, I don't know what, this probably is like teen me, because I think this was either around the time, because when I was diagnosed with celiac disease, right before I was diagnosed, I got really, really thin. And so, yeah, everything just looks like it's hanging off of me. And you can see my wet, stringy hair right here. But yeah, flipping burgers. We had those plates for years. I wonder if my parents still have those plates. And this little thing in the corner, it's like a magnet that's on the back of this shed. And there's these grocery stores called Yigs, called Your Independent Grocer, and they were like, owned by different people. So we had different ones. And then, when do you get the bike in Little Italy? Yeah, truly. And so, but yeah, so that little magnet, there was this thing that these grocery stores did, and there was a kids club. And so you used to be able to go, it was actually the place where you would get photos developed. You would go to the kids club zone and you would get like little treats and stuff from the grocery store. They had mascots and everything too. And so this was one of the little like magnetic photo frames. And I don't know why we stuck it on the shed in the outside, but we did. So yeah, so that is that. That is Teen Tasha barbecue extraordinaire. And that's my backyard. See, behind there, we live behind a soccer field, and we live behind, a bunch of fields. And so I don't know if you can see in the upper right-hand corner, that's a skating rink. So it was one of those, like, outdoor skating rinks. So in the wintertime, there would be somebody who would be in charge of, like, flooding the ice and stuff. And then in the summertime, it was a nice enclosed area that you could, like, I don't know, take your dogs and, like, do different things and stuff like that. So I hope that was not, to be fair, I only have, as of right now, 64 photographs. That's the ones that my parents gave me. But I keep telling them that they need my dad, because he's going through all of our old family photos and like digitizing them and stuff. And I was like, you need to bring them, like you need to give them all to me. So I have content, essentially. I was like, nostalgic content is childhood cringy photos of myself. That one wasn't super cringy though. There's other ones. There's like, I don't know. Because I was still in high school at the time, but I feel like I looked like a teenager in some of the photos, but I didn't. So yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I'm like, listen. It's been a long time. I'm tired of the bullshit. But yeah, that's what's going on. But yeah, so we have a few, but I'm hoping to acquire more. It would also be great to acquire videos. My dad has one of me falling off my motorcycle and my grandma running over to me. That was cool. What, my or just that in general. But yeah, my parents basically, when we did our reception, we got a bunch of photos together. So my parents basically chronicled like my birth to like, there's a photo of like the day I got on the plane and moved here. And so there's like random stuff in between. But yeah. I have 2 digital photos before I was 25. Don't know anything that's wrong. Wow, yeah. You wonder where they're all hidden, sort of thing. Oh, the photos. Yeah. Yeah, my dad, we have tons of family photos. But yeah, it's one of those things where like, unless you get them out or they're like displayed somewhere, you kind of don't know where they end up. Like my in-laws have like boxes full of photos, but I avoided pictures like the plague, but I have a lot of kid photos. Yeah. I know, probably when I got more into high school, I probably have some photos like lying around somewhere. But yeah, especially, yeah, when you get to like teenage years and stuff like that, it's a bit more few and far between. But then I think it's probably more the photos that you would take like with your friends and stuff, as opposed to photos that would have been taken. That's another thing. Maybe I should go through like my photos from like, because I'm sure I could do like throwbacks. If I scrolled through Facebook, there's probably some cringy ass high school photos of me, because I obviously got Facebook around that time. There weren't many taken of you. Is that because too, because like sometimes people, like we had tons of videos, but like Liam doesn't, because it was really expensive to have a camcorder. And so that's why some of those things happen. So like if it was a lot of money to have a like a camera and then get them like whatchamacallit, like get them developed and stuff like that, I could see that not being like an investment. You have your whole life in bloody photos. Was that like you when you were being like cool and it was like, you know, don't perceive me, you know? Do you not have the cringy high school photo where you took your digital camera and then you and your friends would go into the bathroom on breaks and then you would take mirror selfies, but you couldn't take a selfie, so you would take mirror photos with your flash camera in the bathrooms with your friends? You didn't have friends that did that? I feel like there were many. I didn't have tons of them, but there were definitely a couple flash camera photos in school bathrooms. Nah, no one had a camera. No, that's all right. That's okay though, because it's one of those things. Like I think sometimes people are like, oh, like you always hear about celebrities and stuff, or people like nowadays that are like, oh yeah, it'd be really. It's good that we didn't grow up with the level of social media that people do now, because sometimes you don't want to have all your embarrassing photos online, you know what I mean? Because we used to just use Facebook as a dumping ground, so there's just like some real cringe trash photos, maybe some incriminating photos for all you underage drinkers that were just posting all of the things. Like I had friends, or like, you know, friends of friends that yeah, friends of friends who I would like see on Facebook, and they're all like taking photos of themselves at like a house party, and they're all underage, and they're like holding photos and cameras with themselves with like beer and stuff, and I was like, that's a bad idea. Like, don't do that. I took photos of other people. Oh yeah, that's fair. That's, to be fair, that's something that we noticed. Like there's a lot of family photos where like my dad's not in them because he was the one taking the photos. So there's always like the person behind the camera that ends up not being in a lot of family photos because they're the resident photographer of the family. I think there's quite a few before I was 10, and then one of my sisters when I was 14. Wow, interesting. That, I feel like that's not surprising, but it still sucks, right? Because you're like, oh, it'd be cool. Like there's almost like a time capsule, or like, you know, the lost years. That's like a series, right? Solve the lost years. You'll have to go on an archaeological dig through your parents' house and see if you can uncover images of yourself. Probacus, hello, good afternoon. How are you doing? How was your weekend? How was your big city adventures? Did you end up Did you end up gallivanting all over the city like you had thought you would? You did! Amazing! I hope it wasn't too hot. You didn't melt into a puddle on the city streets. That's what Saturday, Sunday in my house. Yeah? Amazing. I'll upload the thermal overview of Greece. Oh my god. I don't know if I want to... I think that, yeah. I'm scared. I'm scared. I'm sure it's absolutely ridiculous. Apparently Spain is really bad as well. Whereas it's like 20 degrees. Here was 14 today. Though I was calling bullshit because I was hot as balls and I thought, well, 14, you should be able to wear a jacket. Apparently not. We will see. All right, let's see. Let's see the bull shrimp. Okay, it's up there. Cool. Do, 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 do. It literally looks like lava. Like, the thermal map looks like lava. Like, I don't, like, yeah. Like, this, look. This is like, I don't know, what is it? What is it? Mordor? Like, this is Mordor. Oh yeah, no, and see, I said this is Mordor, and you literally put a Frodo meme there, so accurate. Like, it's black. Like, that doesn't make any sense. 43 degrees Celsius, that's some bullshit right there. Nope, 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 nope. My brain, like, how do you, no, we saw Oppenheimer on Saturday. And they didn't have the AC on? That's bull shrimp. How was Oppenheimer, by the way? That's inappropriate, especially because I'm sure the theater was packed. We can switch any day. Really? That's, I mean, it was a movie. Fair enough. Movie is a movie is a movie. You're gonna see it on Sunday? Oh, cool. Yeah, it makes me sad. Yeah, well, because isn't it, it's about the guy who basically invented the atomic bomb, right? So I'm sure that's a bit, yeah, makes you reflect. Yeah, I want to go see Barbie as well. Though, I don't know how I feel about the movies, because Liam and I went to go see a movie last week, and the ticket said it was going to start at 7:45, and the movie didn't start until 8:30. Like, we basically paid £30 for like 45 minutes of unskippable ads, and I was so annoyed. And the movie was really good, but like, I don't know, the whole experience was kind of soured by the bullshit. But we don't know if that was the norm or if this was just some fluke, so I don't know, we'll see. So many trailers. No! So ours, there wasn't even. It was like adverts for like local stuff. And then there were people promoting seeing their movies in cinema, but not actually the trailers of the movies that they were there promoting. It pissed me off so much because I would have loved to see actual trailers. And I think we maybe saw 2. And I was like, this is stupid. Yeah, I would have loved like actual I would have loved actual trailers, but instead we got local adverts for like 2 dentists' office in the area, They promoted the sound, the Dolby Atmos sound system, like twice. And then they had like Gran Turismo and Elemental, but it wasn't the trailers for those films. It was the main actors and producers of the film sitting in front of you, super cut with snippets of the trailer, telling you about how great the movie is and how it'll be amazing if you go and see it in theaters, but didn't actually show us the actual trailer. And I was like, the fuck? And then they also started showing like a super cut of interviews from the red carpet, again, of a movie that they then didn't end up showing us the trailer for. I think they actually showed us the Gran Turismo trailer, but still, I was like, I don't understand. It was very stupid. So we don't know if this was like just, I don't know, like if it was like the newbies on the screens on that day. Because my in-laws, like my sister and brother-in-law, went to take their son to a movie a few weeks ago, and I don't know, and apparently he sat through the whole thing, so I'm wondering if we just had a bad experience and maybe not, the movie industry isn't on its way out like that. But yeah, it made me, because now I'm like paranoid, and now it's like, okay, next time we go to a movie, if the ticket says like 7:30, we're not showing up until 8, but then I don't know. I'm not sure. Yeah. The Meg 2 and the new Exorcist. What are the ones that you saw before Oppenheimer? Interesting. The trailers were hilarious though, yeah. Hello, are you in pain? Because your window's falling apart. You open a window for a whole new world. Saw the window. 555 boob. Yeah. But yeah, so hopefully, because I would like to see the Barbie movie. I think I would like, I don't know if I want to see Oppenheimer. I don't know if I care enough about it, but I don't know if Liam wants to see it. I do think Cillian Murphy's a very attractive person. Sorry, I was just advertising before the main picture resumed. Really? It's 3 hours. That's a lot. That's a lot of popcorn. I just gotta make sure I got an extra large popcorn for the occasion. Extra large popcorn and yeah. Isn't he in Oppenheimer? Isn't he Oppenheimer? I'm confused now. Isn't it Cillian Murphy? The guy from Peaky Blinders? He's not hot. Okay, I was so confused. I was like, what sort of Mandela effect is this? Yeah, he's not hot in the movie. Yeah, that's true. That makes sense to me. Okay, we need to keep going. Is that an okay height? I think I want to go a bit larger with it. I'm also not sure about the thickness, but I think it'll be okay. Yeah. To be fair, I think, yeah, it just means that he was, you know, he was able to transform. He was able to dull down his hotness to portray the character more accurately. It was interesting because Liam watched a YouTube video by the channel Veritasium, and they were talking. Oppenheimer was Ken all along. Could you imagine? And they were showing interview snippets with the real Oppenheimer, and I was like, it makes sense to me why they cast Cillian Murphy. Like, they don't look exactly the same, but they kind of have very similar vibes. Come on, Barbie, let's go nuclear. Oof. You're not wrong. You're not wrong. I'm sure those were Barbie. What is it? Barbenheimer? Was that the double feature name? Barbieheimer. There were so many actors in that movie. I didn't know we were gonna be in it. Yeah, I didn't appreciate. Yeah. He can know. Yeah, I had no idea that Florence Pugh was in it at all until I saw them all on the red carpet. And it was like Florence Pugh and Emily Blunt and like a bunch of big names. It's very stacked. But yeah, we can do without Casey Affleck, that's for sure. Was he in it like a lot? Really? Alex Wolff is in it? Alex Wolff of Naked Brothers band fame? I'm like, people will be like, of Hereditary fame? I'd be like, no. Alex Wolff of really shitty Death Note remake fame? Josh, what? What do you, Josh Peck too? You're right. That is a very bizarre cast. That's very bizarre. Oh, I'm thinking of Nate Wolff. Nate Wolff was in the shitty Death Note remake. Alex Wolff was not. But he was in Hereditary and Jumanji. And the Naked Brothers band. Oh my god, honestly. Did you know, Patats, that I still haven't listened to the soundtrack. There's a Death Note musical that came out in like 2015 that apparently is actually like legit. And they're doing like 2 showings of it in London next month. So I asked Liam if he wanted to go and he was like, no. That's so weird that Josh Peck was in Oppenheimer. That doesn't really make any sense to me. Who else is in this film? I remember Beautiful Creatures. Yeah, there was apparently a Death Note musical. And I was like, I don't understand. I know, right? I should try to convince him. But apparently it's like actually like decently renowned, which is interesting to me. Let's look this up in a minute. I just want to see who else is in this cast. So Matt Damon. Yeah, Robert Downey Jr. I knew that. Oh yeah. Oh, was he was like the love interest in Beautiful Creatures? Wow. I remember that film. Jason Clarke, he's like a proper like character actor. I feel like he's been in so much stuff. Homeboy's in lots of things. Yes, I know, the Beetlejuice movie or musical, it's interesting because they obviously had to change some stuff around to make it more like musically, and so I like kind of get it, but yeah, it doesn't hit for me. Whereas the Heathers musical, that goes hard. The Heathers musical is amazing. Oh, is he the worst in the movie? The Jason guy? Oh, maybe he doesn't deserve to be in it. I just feel like he's in a lot of stuff. He's just like around constantly. Who else? Kenneth Branagh's in it. Ted King. I don't know who that is. David Krumholtz? The elf from Elf? Oh, he did good, but the character sucked. That's fair. That's fair. David Krumholtz is also in this, guys. He's Bernard the elf. I think his name's Bernard, right? Yeah. That's so funny. Yeah, Bernard. Damn, Bernard, you glowed up. Josh Hartnett? Okay. Like, I'm so confused. I'm so confused. Really? I've not seen Josh Hartnett for a hot minute. Josh Hartnett, Alex Wolff, Josh Zuckerman, he was in a DCOM. Yeah, he also played Young Evil. Young Dr. Evil in Austin Powers Goldmember. Michael, wow. I think I just need to go to watch this movie, but just go with a bingo card and just like tick off all of these actors. I'm actually flabbergasted. Dane DeHaan, Josh Peck, Jack Quaid. Like, what the fuck? Christopher Nolan was just like, who do you want in this movie? And he just went, yes. He was like, hand me my Rolodex. We're calling everyone. That's nuts. It makes sense because Elon Musk is obsessed with the word X, but I think the Twitter logo is so iconic that I think it's kind of stupid. It's a bad business move. Meta owns the copyright to X. That's a twist. That's a twist. Because Elon is obsessed with the letter X. Oh, Florence Pugh's boobs. Excellent. I'm sure they're very good quality. I was going to say, we were talking about other things. We were talking about other musicals and things as well. Yes, not a musical person, really. Little Shop of Horrors. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, the Beetlejuice musical doesn't work. But yes, the Death Note musical, Florence is bae. It's true. It's true. If I had to put that way, fair. Absolutely. No, Florence Pugh is just a delight. She's just an overall delight. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Death Note musical. I'm rarely on Twitter too, so this, like, the whole changing of the guard, if you will, has just been very inconsequential to me. My, like, auto tweets still happen when I go live, but once I delete it off my phone, I'm like, because a lot of it was just, like, I don't know, just stuff that didn't matter to me. But yes, okay, Death Note the musical came out in 2014, and critical response. It was one of the most anticipated musicals of the year in Japan and Korea. It received positive reviews from Powerhouse Voices. The score was also praised. The story, though, was criticized for trying to cram 12 volumes of manga into 2.5-hour musical, which is a fair critique. The staging was also criticized for being very simplistic. Interesting. But apparently the songs are all in English, I think. So even though it's a Japanese... Because it was like a... The music, the lyrics, and the book are all written by English people, but the concept and all the actors and things were all Japanese, I believe. Yeah, the English concept album was recorded in December 2014. 8 songs were also released 2015. As of 2022, 19 songs. Despite the show originally being written in English, no English language production of the show has been announced. I guess until now. Yeah. Yeah. Yes, the London production was announced. But yeah, so I was like, damn, I didn't even know that was a thing. So yeah, who knows? To be fair, I do need to make a mental note to sit there and listen. I need to listen to it because I'm just curious. But yeah, I'm very hit and miss with musicals too, Crafty Gremlin. I don't know, because again, I was like a musical theater kid, but I don't know, I was almost like anti-musical theater kid. It was like I only like very niche specific musicals or whatever. So yeah, I don't know. I feel like when I go to them, I always enjoy them, but... But yes, the Heathers musical, I really enjoy. But yeah, the Beetlejuice musical has never come to the UK, but it is, despite the fact that, like, Superdrug, like the drugstore here that has, like, drugstore makeup and stuff, did, like, a line, like, Revolution, this makeup brand, did a Beetlejuice line based on, like, as a promotion for the musical, despite the fact that the musical itself has never premiered here. It's only been on in the US so far. So I don't know what that's about. Yeah, I was a cheerleading backup singer in High School Musical. No, were you? I was meant to be a cheerleader, but then I got sick for a week and I missed like a couple rehearsals, so they booted me off production. So I wasn't, but I was going to be. I was supposed to be one of the backup dancing cheerleaders as well. But yeah, I was ill, and so then the what is it, stage manager, girly stage manager, yeah, booted me. But it was fine because I was kind of like pissed because I was so anti High School Musical when High School Musical came out that I was almost like, it was a blessing in disguise that they booted me off of this because it was almost like I was almost doing it ironically. But my brother was in it and he played just like another background actor, and when they did the Get Your Head in the Game bouncing basketball dance routine, me and my family were like, God damn, bro's got moves. It's a few times in my life where my brother's just like, you know, auditioned for Gabriella, but the pipes weren't piping. Though to be fair though, but the thing is, I think though, with that show, it's almost like really important because the ensemble cast kind of carries the show because you have to be able to dance and sing at the same time. And a lot of times the main actors on that production are not dancing at the same time and singing unless they're doing we're all in this together dance. So if anything, your pipes and your moves were just too good together. At least that's what I tell myself. That reminds me, no Holo Taco. Yes, they did put out the limited edition 90s jelly line and it looks freaking gorgeous. You got some of those in the carrying case. Oh, that's amazing. I've not got new Holo Taco in such a long time, and yes, I would love some. So good. That's so exciting. I'm so excited for you. The carrying case is super cute. Exactly. You were just too much, and they were like, Gabriella's kind of a bit mid, and so we need to, like, you know. Yeah. No, I was kind of like, yeah, it was a blessing in disguise, but I definitely was like, they were like, you've missed too many rehearsals, and I was like, I was ill, and they were like, you missed too many rehearsals, and I was like, I wasn't gonna bring my sick ass to rehearsals, sorry, but it's fine. But that's so funny that you were in the production of that. My brother-in-law actually was as well. It must have been that the year that the rights, like, for the school productions of High School Musical came out, every school was doing it. No, I was in two of my, because every year my high school did a musical production. So one year I didn't go to that school, but for 2 years I was in their production. So the first year they did Sound of Music and they needed background people, and because I was in the like vocal music program, they asked a couple of us youngins if we wanted to be nuns. And I was like, sure. So I was a nun for a bit. And then when I was in grade 11, they did Rent. But that's when I was coming back to the school after I had gone to a different school for a year. And I remember being so, because I was just in like the ensemble. Though I played, I had a little bit character. I can't remember what her name was, but she was like the agent that was corresponding with Mark about his like film deals or something like that. I can't remember what her name was though, but then I had an assistant wheel me out onto stage to like pretend to talk on the phone with him. And yeah, then just like various cast member. But then I got so annoyed because I remember my musical theater teacher telling me, because she was the one who put on the production, was like, if you would have auditioned, I probably would have given you a lead role. And I was like, and you know, then I have to remind myself that like I'm a 31-year-old woman and I can't be hung up on the fact that I could have, you know, peaked in high school, but I didn't because I didn't get cast in the lead role of a musical. Sister Act would have been really cool. My one of my choirs did like, I think the year I wasn't there, they did a couple songs from Sister Act in one of their, like, Kiwanis festivals or something like that, I think. Enemies to Lovers are cute. They are cute. I've not seen a good Enemies to Lovers in a while, but then again, I'm not actively consuming a lot of media. I don't think I've actually ever seen Sister Act, which I know is a shame. I've never actually seen it. And I know that that's a terrible thing, because I'm sure I've heard it's a cult classic. It's an amazing good time. I've even heard that the second one is really good as well. And 2, yeah, exactly. I've heard both of them are really good. I think they're on Disney Plus. I'll have to double check. But yes, I should. All right, first little mushroom. We're just gonna have to keep them upright like that. Boom. First mushroom complete. We'll have to cut all the little scragglers off afterwards. Second mushroom, I think we don't want him to be as tall because he's a little guy. Sister Act is so good. Yeah, I feel like it's both critically and commercially, like, praised. Is this gonna be too much? No, I think it'll be fine. Okay. We're probably going to continue working on this tomorrow. But we'll see. If we can get, like, I don't know. How many mushrooms do I have? I have, what, 2, 4, 6, 7. If we can get 4 stems done, that should be good. Considering that we did a cap, so hopefully. We'll see. Oh, I applied for do you guys remember a long time ago that, I don't know if it was a long time ago, but basically I talked about how if I was ever going to go back into, like, a traditional working space, I wanted to work at my chiropractor's office. And then they, like, the chiropractor was like, yeah, we are looking for, like, secretaries and whatevers and kinds of things like that. But by that point, I hadn't, like, fully figured out, like, I was nervous about committing myself to that. But I finally dropped off my CV there, and then they were like, oh, well, we're not currently looking for anyone at the moment. So I was like, okay, cool, like, that's fine. You know, that's okay, sort of thing. And then at the beginning of the month, I got a phone call from their, like, practice manager being like, we are actually looking again now for, like, ad hoc work, but it would only be, like, I don't know, like, once or twice a month, sort of, like, covering for people and stuff like that. And so I was asked to send my resume over again, but then the practice manager said, like, I am, like, going on holiday and things, but hopefully, you know, towards the end of the month, we'll, like, arrange an interview. And I was like, okay, perfect, this is amazing, because it'll be, like, a couple times a month, so it won't mess with my streaming schedule, it won't mess with shadow stuff, it'll ease me into things, and it'll be in a place that I feel comfortable and safe in. So I was like, this is a win-win-win-win-win-win-win-win. So I got off the phone with her and was like, oh my god, like, this is gonna be amazing, I need to... So I sent my CV in, or resume. I don't know why they call it a CV here. It's like curriculum vitae or whatever, and that just sounds like schooling, but anyway, they call it a CV here. So I sent that off to them, but then I've not heard anything since, and I sent it off on like the 3rd, and I remembered that they said they were going on holiday, so I was like leaving it, and then I was like, but what if like I fucked up and sent it to like not the right email address, or I spelled the name wrong, and I don't think I did, but I sent a follow-up email just being like, hi, I just want to make sure, because it really stresses me out when you send somebody something, and even if like it's not to like arrange the interview, but just to be like, okay, yes, I've received it, like I've not gotten any confirmation, being like, yes, I can open this, or like, no, I can't open this. And I get, you know, people get busy and like that's not a thing, but like as an anxious person, I've just been sitting there being like, they might not have gotten it, they don't have it, I don't know what to do now, whatever. So I finally been thinking about sending this follow-up email for like weeks now, and then finally was like, bitch, you just gotta sit down and write an email. So I was like, hi, sorry to bother you, but I sent you a thing many weeks ago, and I wanted to make sure that you got it. Okay, thanks, bye. So we'll see. But yeah, I just think that would be really exciting. So I'm trying to manifest that because I think it would be really awesome. But we'll see. I'm not getting my hopes up, though. It does feel good because I feel like somebody, like, they actually called me to be like, by the way, you should apply for this thing. And I was like, okay. So I'm hoping that that at least means that I'll get an interview. You know, like, there's no guarantee I have the job. Right? Exactly. I'm like, thanks, bye. Could you imagine if I typed that in the email? That would have been very cringe. Just be like, okay, thanks, bye. But yeah, I don't know. It's like leaving me to hope that that is a thing, but we don't know. But I'm just trying to be patient because it is almost the end of the month. So I don't know, like, end of the month, is that like within the last week? Because it kind of is the last week of the month. Is it in like the last few days? Like, if we're meant to be interviewing this week, like it's kind of a short turnaround time. So I'm like, maybe, I don't know. So we'll see. So we'll see. Maybe did they email me back now? That would stress me out if they did. I'm sure they haven't. No, it's fine. But yeah, we'll see. But yeah, because I'm not actually going, because I don't have an appointment there until the end of next month. So, I don't know, by that point it would be too late for me to be like, oi, what's going on? I guess the next step is to call them, or just like pop over and be like, hi. But then it's like, I don't know, can you be too desperate for a job interview? Can you like follow up too many times? Is that like seem desperate and like cringy? Or is that a normal amount of like, nobody's saying anything to me, I have every right to continue to follow up until I get somebody saying yes or no? I don't know. Again, I've been out of the game for a while, and even when I was in the game, I wasn't 100% sure what I was doing, so I don't know. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So that's the thing, where it's like they've said something, and then I'm like, oh, okay, here, and then I've just not heard anything. And I'm like, what does that mean? And maybe it doesn't mean anything. Maybe they are on holiday until the end of the month, and so that would make sense that they wouldn't be checking their emails, because I wouldn't check my emails if I was on holiday. So, we'll see. One time a candidate messaged me on Facebook Messenger because we had a mutual friend. Someone had a class with in college, and he kept texting me messages that were like, hello, if I didn't respond quickly. And he'd be like, do you have any updates? You know what's going on? Yeah, no, that... I wouldn't go... That makes sense, though, because that's like... pushing a professional boundary. Like, to me, social media is not professional. So that would be like, no. Do you know what I mean? Like, I wouldn't go like Facebook stalk or like Instagram stalk a potential employer and then message them being like, by the way, no. Like, to me, and I don't know what this is, like, I don't know if it's just because it isn't until like you get, you know, into those things, but like, to me, email is like the most professional way to conduct communications. And so anytime somebody wants to like do something a different way, it was like, no, this seems to be like pushing some sort of threshold. Yeah, absolutely. I'm sure the first few times, but when they get incessant, you're like, okay, fuck off. Absolutely. And I think you had like every right to do so. But yeah, that's like, yeah, that's professional boundary crossing. It was almost like to be in a way being like, oh, see, we have a mutual friend, so like we're friends, and because we have a mutual friend, then that means it's going to give me a one-up on the competition. And it's like, no. Oh god, LinkedIn. I've not updated my LinkedIn in forever, and every once in a while I get emails to be like, oh, you've been in multiple searches on LinkedIn this week. And I'm like, have I really? I'm like, I've received messages. I don't know about them because I don't even know if I remember my passwords. I can't remember the last time I logged into LinkedIn. I think it was probably before I moved. And then, because then I was like, well, this seems irrelevant. Because I remember being, like, super into it because when I was in school, it was like, yeah, LinkedIn, blah, 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 like, set your professional whatever the fucks. And then I, you know, was like, I don't know. I think this is the right amount. I wanted like half the size I was doing before. So now is this gonna be too much floof? Maybe, I don't know. I didn't check my LinkedIn for 2 years and logged on a coworker made me a nice recommendation. Oh no! Yeah, to people, that happened to me as well, where somebody asked me, it was like a couple years later, and somebody had messaged me, asking if I could like write them a recommendation. And again, it was like a year or two later, and I was like, oh yeah, definitely, I'll say this. And I'm like, he's probably already updated his website and like whatever. And I'm like, wow, I'm an asshole. It's for like secretary work. So like, yeah, I guess like secretary stuff, but like ad hoc. So it would be like almost like cover for the secretaries that are already there. But yeah. So like front office stuff. That's really sweet though that they did that. But yeah, it's one of those things, you know what happens is and this is I don't know if this happens to you guys too, where like, it's like with anything where at first I'm like, oh, this is a good idea, so I should like message or reach out or something like that, right? And then I put a mental window, like if I, like for instance, like thank you notes. Like I was sending thank you messages to people when they came to our reception. There's still a couple people that I haven't sent messages to saying like, aw, thanks for like showing up, thanks for the gift, whatever. But it's been like a whole 2 months now, and now it feels way too late to do it. And so now I'm like, this feels out of the blue and completely out of context, so I just don't do it. Do you know what I mean? Where I'm like, oh, I really should like, you know, update my LinkedIn or whatever. And I'm like, oh, I really should do that. And then like 2 years go by and I'm like, everything is irrelevant now. And then I just get too nervous and don't. So yeah, I think I talked myself out of things because I'm like, well, now the window of relevancy to do this thing has now closed. And so now I don't. Or I'm like too nervous or in my head about it. Okay, so it's time between 2 different career paths and was stuck. I randomly messaged some strangers on LinkedIn who worked in the field I was interested in to get pros and cons. People actually answered. Oh, that's amazing. That's really cool. Yeah. I have people message me like that and I get really overly excited and scare them away. Aw, patats. You're just like, oh my god, I'm just such a go-getter. That's really sweet though. That's a clever use of that tool. Definitely. Because especially if you want to get into fields that you don't know anybody who is also in those fields, it's like, where do you go to get that insight? And that would be probably the closest equivalent to do that. That's really cool. Now it means a lot. I get excited too. Yeah. That's like when I do like a craft kit, and I usually make sure when I post the craft kit, I'll try to find the artist or the manufacturer, and I'll tag them in the post. And then sometimes they'll like reshare or they'll message being like, "Oh my god, it looks so good." And I'm like, I feel like I've just been like spoken to by a celebrity. I'm like the crafting celebrity. I'm like, "You have published work and you've retweeted the thing, or like you've reposted the thing that I made." And I was like, "Oh my god." So it was really exciting when that happens. I don't get excited when celebrities retweet stuff. I'm like, I get excited when I post that I made a hobby crafting and Hobbycraft is like, "Good job." I'm like, "Oh my god, thank you so much." Do you think that maybe there was a little bit too much fluff on the top of this? But I think it's okay. Here we go. 2 little mushrooms. Hopefully. All right, 2 down, 5 to go. Trying to think what we're gonna felt next of the mushrooms. Left my mushroom book downstairs. can go through, because I know we're trying to be. We did our Amanita muscarias, our like fly agaric ones. These are our fairy rings, and then we have, I think probably like, I don't know if I'm pronouncing it, but bolettes. There's different ones, and I find they're really cute. There's this artist I follow, I think it's Abby Toads, and she makes really, really cute mushroom merch. And I think they're based off of bolettes, and they are really cute. Abby Toads. She makes all sorts of cute ones. Like, she makes, like, little chanterelles and stuff like that. But, like, this guy, the fact that they're just like, oh, he's leveled up, amazing! But they're really cute. But yeah, I like the fact that they're skinny and then they have sort of, like, a bulbous bottom. They're sort of a bit more, as opposed to having, like, a top and then having a really skinny bottom. I like the ones that have, like, a top and then they got curves. Like, these mushrooms with curves, you know? They're so cute. I love them so much. It's so funny because I've always been, like, anti-croc my entire life. I think they're really ugly. But she has little gibbets that are in the shape of her little mushroom characters. And I'm like, maybe I want crocs, guys. But I want crocs only so I can have cute little mushroom charms on my crocs. That's the only reason. And then I was like, they're really expensive for me to, like, only want them for this other thing. But yeah, I love her stuff. And then she's also, like, done funding for different, like, plushies and things, too. I think right now they're doing a chanterelle one. But yeah, and then I think she also developed, like, this game, like a board game that's based on her little mushrooms and stuff like that. And I'm just like, they're so freaking cute. There we go. But yeah, so I think one of those. I think it'd be really cute to stick like a little chunky mushroom boy on one of these like really tiny ones. So I have like a really tiny circle. And so I think it would be fun to stick like a little chonky standalone boy on a little wood disc. This guy, I sort of go through this size. My mom thought of an interesting idea too, because I have a lot of like fake pearls. She gave them to me to make like beaded ornament covers and stuff. But she thought it might be cute to do needle felt like oysters and then sew little plastic pearls in them. So I might try doing that later on as well. But I think first I would like to. It's one of those where I feel like I bought supplies for a thing to make multiples of things, so I feel like I should try to use up the supplies, you know what I mean? So I have all these wooden discs, like let's try to do the things, do the nature things for this, And then we can experiment with other felted creatures. Though I do think maybe on one of like the larger wooden discs, it would be nice to do like a sleepy fox or something like that. So not just do the nature part of nature, but do the animal part of nature as well. Struggle with, like, I'm trying to give them some differentiation in character because obviously they're not all going to look exactly the same, but my desire for uniformity is real. Sometimes when I start putting these on, I'm trying to center them, but then the stem seems to move a little bit. Secured down. Guess I am. I should. Just thinking I should probably make these stumps as like flat as possible, but I guess it's kind of difficult to do that. I think what we'll do is finish all the stems, and then once all the mushrooms have been stemmed, then I can go through and snip off all the little excess bits of wool that are causing them to sort of stick together. Like when I go to move them, if a little fiber catches on one of the other mushroom caps, it like drags it with it, which is not ideal. Liam and I are going to like a destination wedding next month. So a couple, like our friends are getting married in Ireland because she's originally from there, but she lives in a place that I guess it's not like outside of a major city, and transportation isn't like the most reliable or stuff, I guess. And so basically what we have to do is fly to Dublin and then drive, like rent a car and drive to the destination. The other option would have been to take the ferry, but I guess the ferry is like more expensive than flying, which is wild. First of all, the budget airlines here, I don't know if it's the same with budget airlines in the States, because obviously where I'm like in Canada, there aren't really budget airlines. Like everything is like a big airline. But the budget airlines, you can get, you know, tickets are like £40 or whatever. But now they're charging you, like they've always, like lately, they've charged for check bags, right? So I get that. Yes, okay, the flight, but if you want to check a bag, you need to pay more. Now they're also charging you for a bag in the overhead carry-on compartment. So the only item they don't charge you for is like your purse or your small personal belonging that fits under the seat in front of you. If you want to put something in the overhead bin on the plane above your seat, charge. If you want a check bag, charge. And so it ended up being so much more because we were like debating, okay, do we get a check bag or do we get overhead bag? Do we both get one or do we not get one? But yeah, so now paying for that. And so then we had to book the car rental, which is so bizarre to me because people have been telling me that like car rentals are exponential now. But what it was is, so we type in, okay, we need a vehicle, and then, because I don't know how to drive a manual car, it was like automatic. So it went from like £80 for 2 days to like £120 for 2 days. And we're like, okay, that's dumb. Just manual, whatever. The other filters, one of the options was for air conditioning. I just assumed now in this day and age, air conditioning would just be across all of the vehicles now. No. Type in that as one of your filters. Went from £80 for 2 days to £125. So we now have a manual, non-air conditioned vehicle because that was the cheapest option. And so Liam was like, it's fine. Like, you'll just, you know, it's only going to be an hour and a half drive. Like, we can suck it up. We'll roll down the windows, whatever. And I'm like, I bet it doesn't even have automatic windows. I bet we have to crank it like old school style. Tea time. But, you know, absolutely failings. Hello. You know, if you think about it, Pokemon is a really weird game because statistically speaking, God gets out-muscled by a very flamboyant duck. What does that have to do with anything, you might ask? Nothing. I just know what else to come in with. I appreciate your cold opens every time you stop by, failings. I hope you're doing well. I hope your quest for work-life balance is getting a little bit better for you. Thank you so much for the drink. Now let's do some stretching. Do a little bit of stretching. Do. Yeesh, so I got blood drawn to test for is it the BRCA gene? That's the one, that's the breast cancer gene marker, right? And I was so worried it was gonna cost like $500 out of pocket, but it looks like, oh, the insurance is gonna cover it. That's nice. That's nice when the insurance actually covers things, because I feel like it seems like insurance covers so little nowadays. Yeah, it's like the BRCA gene. That's really nice that they're gonna cover it. Okay. Yeah. Okay, so it could be because you have, like, familial history sort of thing. I wonder if it was one of those, like, if you didn't have any sort of familial run of, like, cancer in your family, then that makes sense that they would cover that. But I guess maybe if there was, like, no instance, they might be like, well, there's no concern, so therefore this is just like an additional thing, you know what I mean? Whereas like you have grounds to be seeking this out, I guess, is their logic for maybe covering it. I thought I was looking at my boobs chopped off immediately if I had it, though. He didn't seem to care. Well, that's nice. That's nice that he was like, whatever. Doesn't matter, you know? Yeah. Those people that didn't know it existed. Yeah, I was kind of worried. I think, yeah, there's like it's not for all cancers, but it's like a specific gene that they managed to like correlate with with breast cancer. So people who have like a familial history with breast cancer in their family are encouraged to get that tested. Not worrying about the best meal. Honestly, truly. It's like people who can run around braless, or even like with bralettes, I'm like, no, I can't. I need the support. We need the support. We can't just be running around titties flopping everywhere. I mean, we could, but like it would be uncomfortable. Unfortunately, everyone's favorite army is still continue to get dunked on. Oh, because I was supposed to have a new trainee this week that my manager said was going to be a long-term help we've been looking for, only for his car to break down and no longer want to be interested with working with us. So I guess that's so stupid. His car broke down, and so he was like, meh. Which you would think, though, if your car breaks down, it's in your best interest to be employed so you can fix your car. But I guess it's like a chicken or the egg thing, right? Can't get to work if you don't have a car. Can't fix your car if you don't have a job. That would be a difficult situation to be in. I mean, like a binding sports bra just to hold them up. Yeah, and then that's a lot of pressure on your back and stuff too, right? It's not nice. I saw this. It was a reel, I guess, but I guess it was like a TikTok. No, you know what it was? It was a short. I think it might have been a YouTube short, but I'm sure it was obviously big on TikTok first. And it was this girl who was back home visiting her parents or something like that. And she like, I don't know if she moved back in or she, like, something happened. Basically, she still had, like, a bunch of her old clothes, like, from childhood, so she dug them out sort of thing. And so she was going over, like, she's like, okay, these are the, like, bras that I was wearing when I was, like, 15, 16, like, now as, like, a 20-something, 30-something-year-old woman, like, what the fuck was I thinking? And so she was like, yeah, La Senza, or, like, you know, Victoria's Secret, like, had a chokehold on me as a child. And so she's holding up these bras that's, like, this baby blue satin bra with rhinestones that has padding that's, like, this thick. And she was like, who was I wearing this for? And also, rhinestones on bras are stupid because then they poke through your shirt. And she's like, there's so much padding in this. It's like, yeah, like, you could get punched in the boob and not feel a thing because they were just so thick. And then it was like, yeah, she's like, and this, and like, there was like all these ones that are like super strappy or super lacy, and she's like, who am I wearing these for? I'm 15. And she's like, I'll tell you what I wear now. She's like, I have one. Where did my fluff go? I dropped things and the fluff disappeared. I'm gonna have to start again. I got so angry that I flung the fluff somewhere. Oh, there it is. Cool. It's fine. But yeah. Never before I've been so horribly confused in a conversation and want exactly none of my questions answered. I took it with you, yeah, so it ended up in the container with all the other stuff. We found it. It's fine. We're back at it. But yeah, no, and it's like now, no, you just like basic bitch, just plain stuff, because the whole point is you don't need to see, yeah. But I remember that was a thing. That like some like girls in my school would do when they're like trying, you know what I mean? Like when you're a kid and you're trying to figure out like your sexuality and like what being sexy means and all that kind of stuff. And so there were definitely like girls in my primary school, and we thought that they were sluts, which is like, so whatever, the internalized misogyny. But they used to wear black bras under their white shirts, and like you knew it was deliberate. But yeah, that was always interesting. We were like, oh my god, look what they're doing. Like, they're so scandalous. And it's like, get over it. But yeah. Getting views is not. Yeah, to be fair, I was one of the first ones as well. I was too scared to ask my mom to buy me a bra, so my friend gave me one of hers. I was so jealous that her mom bought it for her. Tomboy, I'm feeling to be, yeah. Sleep and rush in the day. That's nice. Tomboy X bras. I've never heard of that brand. I'm forced to get one. See, what ended up happening is a friend of mine asked me. She was like, my mom wants to know if you have a bra. Like, do you wear a bra? And I was like, no. And then I asked my mom. I was like, Mom, so-and-so wonders if I should be having a, like, I was like, am I supposed to be wearing a bra? And she's like, do you think you need one? And I was like, I don't know. You're the mom. You've had boobs longer than me. You would know. You know what I mean? I was like, I don't know if I'm supposed to. You're supposed to tell me. But yeah. No, and then actually I had an experience. It was my first time being sexualized against my will. That was interesting, reflecting on that, being like, oh, that happened in the 7th grade. So what had happened was we did a unit about the Titanic, and we were doing like fake interviews with survivors. And so I was playing the interviewer, and I was interviewing somebody. And then for whatever reason, I think because we were working on our like oral presentation skills. And so they were filming our interactions, and then we were going to watch them back later and talk about like, and, you know, see ourselves in our discussion and whatever. And so the kid who was in charge of filming everyone, he was really bad with the camera. And so we're watching over my video. And at one point he fully zooms in on my chest, and we thought he was moving the camera around. He goes, oh shit, my bad. And then that happened. And then he goes, oh no, shit. Yeah. I like basically owning up that he did that on purpose. So yeah, in front of the entire class, this guy strategically was like, yeah, I zoomed in. And then at recess, then all of my like little guy friends came over and they're like, is it true that so-and-so zoomed up on your boobs in class? And I was like, yeah, I guess so. So that was awkward. That was fun. I also contribute to that as the reason why I have shitty posture, because I got boobs before I was prepared to have boobs, and I didn't want people, you know what I mean? So I was very curved. Yeah, it was gross. I know, right? And it wasn't until later on that I was like, oh, that's what they mean when people talk about like the age that they got sexualized at against their will, which is interesting. Oh, my boobs are saying they need air, yeah. I've only recently been okay with having cleavage out. I was too exposed, but started to accept that big titties can just exist. Yeah, absolutely. They can just exist and it doesn't matter. That's the thing. That's why I strap them down so much. Exactly. Yeah. I know. Yeah, it's just so interesting, right? And you're kind of like, oh wow, that's interesting. But yeah, no, it was definitely a thing. Yeah, definitely don't understand everything that's going on. I don't. Yeah, definitely. You're just, you know, this is a peek behind the curtain, Phalanx. This is a peek behind the curtain. Yeah. I know, it's so, yeah. Ugh. It's one of those where I guess, like, it sounds really bad, but I guess thankfully it was by somebody who was my own age and wasn't like a grown ass person, but it's still not okay. You know what I mean? But yeah, no, it is interesting how, like you said, like, just because, like, big, like, larger boobs by default are hypersexualized just because they're larger, so, like, they're just in people's periphery, like, they're noticeable. But it's like, they can just exist on bodies and they don't have to be a thing. It's like, I remember when I was younger, the argument was always like, they actually are like a source of nutrition. Like, they provide food to children. They're not sex objects. Like, they're actually like life givers, you know what I mean? But that's also like a very simplistic binary expectation of that. I think I joined the wrong meeting. I thought we were supposed to be for D&D. Oh, we can also talk D&D. I have very little knowledge about that, but Phalanx is like, it's okay though. I feel like it's important for, like, people of all genders to be privy of experiences that happen to the opposing genders, because then it gives you empathy and perspective, and when you enter into relationships with people or you have children, like, you can be better informed about how to support people when they go through that kind of stuff. Like, if you're a dude who's, like, never seen a tampon or never seen a pad, like, how are you going to support you know, your significant others, or like if you have a child that like has a period and stuff like that, like you're gonna be like, oh, it's gross, like, and you don't want to humiliate your child by having those feelings. So I think it's important to know these things. Yeah, someone your own age. Yeah, right? Exactly. We're talking about D's. But yeah. H's. She's a reduction. Yeah. No, absolutely. And like, I'm sure there's other things too. Like, I'm sure there's things that like men go through as well. And then it's like, it's important to have those conversations to be like, oh yeah, I experience these things and whatever. I know. I sit here pretending to listen and understand what everyone is saying. Just smile and wave, boys. Smile and wave. Smile and nod. No. But even just in general, like, relationships, like, even friendship relationships, too. Yeah. Don't have to understand. Just have to empathize. I recently watched a Try Guys video. Because I feel like Try Guys is, like, my, like, wholesome, like, chill content. Even though some of it's, like, crazy. And they recently did, because they've done birth pain simulators before, but they did period pain simulators. And it was so funny because they use, like, the TENS machines, right? And so TENS machines are used in, like, physical therapy and whatever to, like, voluntarily contract and release your muscles. And so they put them, like, on their abdomen and on their, like, lower back and stuff. And it was so funny because their producer, Rachel, was currently on her period at the time. And so she was, like, she then tried the TENS machine on and was, like, going through them. And she goes, yeah, no, this is normal. Oh no, this is sort of what it feels like. And I think she said that her experience is like, yeah, she's walking around at like, they had different levels. They started at 5. And so she's like, yeah, no, my normal is like at a 7 or whatever. And I think they started at 4, they got to 6. And they're like, excuse me, you are currently dealing with this for like a week every month and you come to work and exist. And they were so crabby. It was so interesting. Exactly. Yeah. So that's why it was really cool to see, like, because sometimes you see those simulators and you're just like, who knows if that's actually, like, accurate? Like, you know what I mean? Like, you don't know if it's almost like putting on a performance and it's farcical. So it was really cool to see them actually put it on somebody who was actively experiencing those pains to be able to validate whether, like, where she was feeling on that threshold and then could relate it to what the sensation the guys were feeling. But yeah, it was very interesting. Yeah, my husband immediately went to Disney World and he was actively getting... Yeah, that's cool. I can do that. I just can't promise you that I understand a single thing because smart enough to... Yeah, fair enough. Exactly. The fact that you're even attempting, the fact that you attempt is already giving you bonus points. Because some people would just be like, la 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 la, I don't want to hear it, I don't care, blah blah blah, that's a you problem, like whatever. But the fact that you're just like, I don't get it, but I'm gonna listen. That's already half the battle. Listening is half the battle. Because a lot of people don't listen. The bar is low. Yeah, truly. Like, it's like with anything, right? Because it's like people who have, like, never experienced, like, an anxiety attack before, right? Or someone who's, like, never experienced, like, a depressive episode. It's like, somebody may not understand, but they can give empathy and, like, be a listening ear and stuff like that, right? So the same thing applies to any sort of experience that is outside your own wheelhouse, but requires, like, empathy and understanding. It's a good skill to have. active listening is a good skill to have. So, you know, actively like listening, I just full on stab myself. It's fine. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I love that. I love that you found your person. Yeah. Yeah, a little bit. It's fine though. We've stopped it. We've stopped the bleeding. We have officially blood, sweat, and tears this project. It doesn't happen often, but this time it did. It's fine though, guys. Whoops. It's not happened in a while. Sometimes it'll be like a little bit, but no, it's done now. Sometimes it'll be a brief moment. Sorry. Would it be better for you if I lied? Definitely did not draw blood. Definitely was not bleeding there just for that moment. The blood adds a perfect shade of red. Truly, truly. Yeah, we're going for a bit of a darker hue, and that just, like, will make it pop. Liam and I played more of It Takes Two the other night. And I guess I wouldn't necessarily... I think It Takes Two, it is kind of cozy. I don't think it's, like, full cozy. There's, like, more adventure and stuff. But I was thinking about this, that there's so many games that brand themselves as cozy games, and they involve platforming. Platforming, to me, is not cozy. That's not a cozy game mechanic. Because that's the game that I was playing, that, like, Smushy Come Home or whatever. It's a very nice, chill, cute, cozy game, but it involves platforming. And platforming, to me, is stressful and decidedly uncozy. So I don't know who decided that, like, platforming was, like, a chill game mechanic. Because I would like to have a word. Yeah, absolutely. It is, I find it very interesting. We just finished... What level are we at now? Oh, but the one, I don't know if you guys saw the whole thing, but when we went to the castle to see the elephant, and after we saw the elephant, I was like, this is really dark and really sad. But right now, I'm trying to think what level we're at. We did the space one. We did the castle one. I think now, oh, now we're doing one where we have to, like, we have our two little animatronic figures and they're on a track and we have to get them through their track onto the right path. We're in a cuckoo clock. That's the one. We're currently there. We Were Here is a good puzzle game for two people. Oh, cute. There's a series of them. Oh, interesting. That would be an interesting one. I'm going to write that down. Video game series. Co-op first-person video game. Cool. Oh, it's free to play as well. At least the first section is. I like that. I thought Mario Kart was leading. Put you into marriage counseling. Absolutely. The goal is to have one provide the marriage counseling. That's like Monopoly as well. Monopoly is the board game equivalent of that. Let's ruin relationships. Let's decidedly play a game that does that. But yeah, Mario Kart would be one of them. Mario Party, maybe, if you have someone who's like a real sore loser. But there is a lot of chance in that game. But yeah, if you want people to get annoyed. Yeah, it's all puzzles, like no aiming for things. That's always helpful. I hate I'm having a hard time where I have to shoot something, aim myself, and then aim the viewfinder at the same time. I really struggle with that. Hi, Shadow. You come to hang out. See if we can see him. It's a little baby shadow donut in the corner. But he's blurry because we didn't put the autofocus on. Hello, little black fuzzy blob. That's cool. But yeah, no, I was struggling. Like, Liam even went into the controls and see if we could, like, create, like, an autofocus option, and it wasn't there. And I was like, that's dumb. Because you're jumping on, like, a bouncy castle material, and I'm jumping, trying to aim where I need to go, and trying to orient myself as to where I'm supposed to be looking, and there were just too many components. So I fall a lot. Liam has to wait, and sometimes there's, like, a puzzle where it's like, you go here and collect this thing, and you go here and collect this thing, and I'm too busy falling off the bouncy castle, so Liam's gone and done the 2 challenges before I get there, and I just have to press the button. So it's very, yeah, it's cooperative gameplay, but a lot of times one person is carrying the team, that's for sure. But thankfully he doesn't get too frustrated with me. If anything, I get more frustrated with myself when I'm playing the game, whereas he's just like, nah, it is what it is. Whereas I'm like, why can't I do this? Chris is good at games, so I make him do that stuff. I mean, I've been playing WoW since 2004, but yeah, tabbing me, I'm trying to move my mouse around, yeah. I think a great trust exercise for any friendship involves you playing Mario Kart with them, and if you still talk with them the next day, then you know the friendship is gonna last. That's true, absolutely. Yeah, I really struggle with a lot of games, but with Mario Kart, I would even know who my character is, and 9 times out of 10, I would end up watching the other screen thinking I was one character, and I actually was a different one. Maybe I'll play the Coco where we have to escape prison. Oh, I remember, yeah. I think I remember, I know which one you're talking about, but I can't remember the name of it, too. I made him do all the shooting. Maybe we need more coffee. Go get that coffee! Get that caffeine! Yeah, I think I watched the Game Grump, like a Game Grump supercut of that one. I don't think I needed that much fluff. Maybe this much fluff. A Way Out, that's what it's called. Cool. Yeah, there was a moment, Liam and I played, what was the one? What's the cooking one where you have to battle, like, a spaghetti monster? And you have to, like, and there's puzzles and you have to, like, fling burgers at each other and stuff. And then they've recently done one that's, like, a moving version of that. We've not played that one yet, though, but... But then I remember because we started playing that cooking game, and then we played for a little bit, but then he played a version of it, like, he played it with his friend, and they completed it, and I was like, oh, I see how it is. I'm like, you played co-op game with someone else. Rude, whatever. But it was fine, because this person actually was legitimately good at video games, so I'm sure it was much easier for them to progress through the levels than it was when I was playing with him. Overcooked, that's the name of the game. We played Overcooked. But yeah, then we didn't finish Overcooked, and then Liam went off with somebody else and played Overcooked, and I was like, oh! How dare you? We also played Pokemon Showdown together, and even though RNG was completely my favorite the entire time, we're still friends, even though, oh, that's amazing. For everyone to laugh at his expense, which is proof of P friendship. Yeah. Some people just, like, aren't competitive about those sorts of things and, like, don't care, you know what I mean? Like, if there's no ego in it, they're just like, yeah, whatever, man. Like, there's some people who, when they are not winning, they are getting so aggro, and other people that are like, yeah, man, I suck at this, and they just are like, there's no ego involved. It's like a surprise when, like, at least for me, it's a surprise when I win. I still do get frustrated, but it's more like I get frustrated at myself because I'm like, I can't do the thing or whatever. But not when I'm, like, decent at a game, and then I, like, get really aggro if someone else beats me. So your friend was probably just like, whatever. I have no ego, so I don't care about what I lose. My friend would throw a remote at the wall if she lost. Really? Yeah. Like, I can understand, like, if you're grinding at something for a long time and then it just gets, like, really overwhelmingly frustrating. I get that part. But I think sometimes, too, it'll be like, oh, when you play like multiple rounds of a game and you lose every single time. But even then, I don't know, I don't get to the point where I want to like be aggro about it. I'm just like, I'm done. I'm frustrated. This is not, it's not fun. Like, there's one thing where it's not fun, but there's one thing. No, he was getting tilted the entire time, which made me feel, oh, amazing. But there was a mutual understanding that this was going to be okay. That's all right then. Sometimes you can laugh after the fact too, right? You can be like, oh man, like I was getting real hot under the collar about this. And then you look back and you're like, that was silly and unnecessary, but then it's funny. So then it's kind of okay. Well, this guy, I think, is too much floof. Let's try to get as much. That's better. It was all for the content. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Wasn't it ABC? Always be contenting. Mm-hmm. Always be content. Alright. Oh, we might actually finish. So I was like, oh, we're gonna get, you know, we're not gonna finish all of the bits today. But we have a half hour left. And we've like really, I don't know, we've crushed these stems, which is awesome. I feel like we've been making excellent progress. Check us out, gang. Yeah, it's kind of spawned a series called Ruined Friendships with Random Battles because all my friends would just get absolutely screwed by RNG to my benefit. That's funny. Have you ever had a friend beat you when you've recorded stuff? Or have you just been, because to be fair, you are like top right now, so do you just wipe the floor with all of them? What are you going to do when your friend beats you and your reign is over? Some days they beat me, but none of them escape without succumbing to the binds of RNG. Fair enough. Fair enough. Yeah, I guess your averages are just higher. Do I find Harley Lewis not been able to take a single game off me, which is, aw, man. Go, it's okay, Harley. You tried your best. That's all that matters. The best thing, the most validating thing for me was because I had one of my childhood friends. They were always like, they played a lot of games, really good at games. We used to play Time Splitters together or like play, he would play like Halo and stuff, and I think I told you guys about this, where one time he was like, okay, Tasha, you have access to all the guns, it's 1v1, I will only use the laser sword, let's see if you can hit me. And I knew it wasn't gonna happen, but I tried anyway, and I just remember him jumping down from like the arena and just like slicing me in half, and I was really bad at screen peeking, and he's like, I can just time your jumps. But at one point, they had like, was it one of like the Xbox that had the Kinect? And so he had Just Dance. In that game, I could kick his ass because I had more rhythm than him. And so those were the games that I was like, he was like, oh, do you want to come over and play Just Dance? And I actually like kicked his ass. And I was like, oh. So, you know, everyone's got their niche, guys. Everyone's got their niche. So yeah, no, I can't point and shoot and aim for shit, but like I can do syncopated Just Dance dances for the high score. You love Just Dance? Yeah. I've not played it in years. I remember when I first moved here, I found a version of it on Steam, and you could, like, you downloaded a Just Dance app, so your controller was your phone. But it's one of those things, right, where, like, I would put my whole effort into it, but theoretically, if the controller is your phone, all you gotta do is just move your hand, and then it'll sort of figure it out. But, yeah, I used to love those games. I loved that one. I loved, like SingStar. I loved Rock Band as well. I love playing Rock Band with my family, but my brother always was convinced that he could do things on hard mode when he absolutely couldn't, and so he would make our band fail all the time. But that was always fun. I would always play bass because I could do bass on medium because it was easier than playing guitar. The stem's a little chonkier than the others for the size, but I think that's okay. They don't have to look the same. It's like I wouldn't want to go out and buy all the components of just like of Rock Band again, but I would just like a nostalgic game night where I just like rent all of the supplies and get people together and like have a little band for a minute. But the only problem is, because that was the only issue with them, is like they were a really nice novelty, but then you have to try to store 2 fake guitars, a fake drum set, and a fake microphone. And they take up a lot of space. Okay, 2 more stems to go. I miss, honestly, same. There was a lot of songs that I then learned all the words to because I used to sing in Rock Band. I have Zelda Monopoly and always beg my boyfriend to play it with me, and then he starts dominating. I get frustrated. He's like, this happens every time. Why'd you beg me to play? And you're like, because of the Zelda. That's amazing. You're like, I just want to play with the little baby Zelda pieces. Yeah. I got a Sephora themed Monopoly one year for Christmas. That was fun. I had Disney Monopoly. I have a Disney trivia game. In fact, I kept it. And it's a Disney 2000s trivia game. It's a fun time. It's like a Trivial Pursuit, but all Disney, but only like before 2000 and something. So it's all like old trivia and stuff, and there's like different levels of difficulty. and there's one that's like about the parks, and like I don't know anything about the theme parks, but I know everything about the movies. And I remember playing it with my mother-in-law and my brother-in-law, my youngest brother-in-law. And so I think he was like a child when this game came out. And so he was like, there's no way I know the answers to these things because my like reference point for Disney starts like after this game was made. So I'm going to be terrible at it. And he ended up winning because there would be like multiple choice questions of like the hardest level. They'd be like, oh, who was the name of like the actress in the 1950s, you know, whatever, like live action Robinson Crusoe or whatever. And then there would be 4 names. And he'd be like, this name sounds vaguely 1950s, that one. And he'd be correct. So he ended up winning after he said, I have no knowledge of any of these Disney related things past this like point in time. So no, I'm gonna, and then he ended up winning. And I was very upset. But don't worry, I then won the second round, so I felt vindicated. I was like, that's okay. But yeah. So I kept it. My parents were like, we're going through all of our old stuff. Like, we're going through old games and things. Like, what do you want to keep? And I was like, Disney trivia, thank you very much. It was good fun. There was a game that we had, and honestly, it wouldn't have made sense to keep, but it's actually the cutest game when I think about it. It was this like Arthur's Library game, and so basically you had little like cardstock backpacks, and then there was a library shelf with all of the books, like all the Arthur books. I have to go to a meeting. My pop in before you're done. Oh, no problem, Patats. I hope your meeting goes well. I appreciate you stopping by. But yes, we'll be here for another like 20 minutes, so hopefully your meeting doesn't run that long. Yeah, so it was this Arthur's Library game, so then you had like a cardboard library with all the little cardboard books, and I think it was a memory game. So you would have to, then you would lay out, there's actually a lot of components to this game, so you would lay out all the cards, and then if you match the 2 pieces together, you then got to take the library book and stick it in your little backpack, and then when the one with the most ones wins. And so obviously the game mechanics are like super benign and childish, but like the attention to detail and the clarity was like really, really clever. Let me see if I can find it. Arthur's Library game. Yeah! Dude, 100%. This is what it was. Was it a memory game? Arthur Goes to the Library Game Board, 1996. Wow. They're going for like $50. Anyway, let me find. I know there were like pawns. That part of the game I don't understand. I don't remember that one. So there were like little pawn characters. But yeah. Let me see. I don't want to search inside the image. I don't. I just want a higher quality version of this. Yeah, look at the little backpacks. And then you spun. And then, so how did the game work? I'm intrigued. I am fascinated. But I also loved all of the little mini versions of the game. But also, I actually have all of the books. I don't know if I have every single one of them, but I have all the ones that were on here. That's so cute. So yeah, low-key, loved this game just for the aesthetic. Anyway, so I'm completely unrelated. No, apparently one of my coworkers got me a gift, which I'm cautiously optimistic about because I'm going to be completely honest, none of my coworkers know me outside of the guy who says funny things and works at the night shift. Hey man, that's really cool though. Even if they don't know you, at least they're like trying to show their appreciation for you. Even if the gift is like, I don't know, like a bottle of like your favorite drink or something like that, or even just like anything. That's really clever. I'm very intrigued. I wonder, it would be very interesting to know how well they've pegged you. Okay, let me remember how this game works because I don't remember the stand-up peoples. I'm an adult. That's right, I really. Yeah, when are you getting the gift? Okay. Ages 4 to 7, 2 to 4 players. Come with cardboard replace, 4 cardboard backpacks. The backpacks were so cute. 16 pawns, a spinner, and instructions. Right. Spin the spinner to find the matching stand-up character, then guess. Oh, you have to guess the book that they've rented. And then if you guess correctly, then you get the book. If you're wrong, you remember. Okay, so it is still a memory game. But the way you determine it, instead of matching 2 cards, you go, oh, I think so-and-so rented this book from the library. And if you were correct, then you got it. Interesting. But yeah, so that one was a bop. Apparently I'm going to find out Wednesday morning when they come in to relieve me from work. Oh, interesting. Yeah, that'll be something to look forward to. Definitely. Yeah, so you'll finish a night shift and then you'll get a nice little gift before you go home. That's cute. I'm excited. You'll have to tell us on Thursday what it was. But yeah, so that one was definitely in heavy rotation. The other game that was in heavy rotation in my house, the board game, was Don't Wake Daddy. Do you guys remember Don't Wake Daddy? I think they like upgraded it too. But how you were like little kids and you were trying to sneak to get like, I think you were trying to get snacks from the fridge. And then if you like landed on something or spun something, you had to press the alarm clock. And it was kind of like Crocodile Dentist. You remember Crocodile Dentist? It was always those things that you pressed it and then you didn't know. And then obviously if you triggered Daddy, he would fling open and he had a little hat that would fly off and you'd be like, oh no, back to start. Yeah, that was on heavy rotation in my childhood games cupboard. But yeah, Crocodile Dentist as well was also, now that I think about it, because you know how everyone always touts, because we also had Perfection. So you know how Perfection was touted as the reason that all millennials have anxiety? You know the game, right? Where it's like, there's a countdown and you have to try to match all the missing puzzle pieces in their corresponding spots before the timer runs out and the thing pops out and flings all of the pieces everywhere, and it's always a shock when it happens. But there were quite a few sort of shocky games like that. So Don't Wake Daddy was also a jump scare of a game. Crocodile Dentist was also a jump scare of a game because you had to press all of the teeth down and then one of the teeth would cause the chomp. So that was always a high anxiety sort of game. So there was a few sort of like high anxiety, adrenaline inducing childhood games. I'm like reflecting. Which one? Perfection? That was a fun game, actually. I actually enjoyed that one. I would like to think that, you know, I probably had anxiety before Perfection. That was not the cause of my Ooh. Okay, so we've got 2 more mushroom stems left. We'll see if we get them done. Yeah, that one was a good one. I'm trying to think what other childhood toys that we had. Oh, I had Kerplunk. Did you guys ever have Kerplunk? It was basically like, I don't know, like this vessel, and you had all these little sticks that you would stick in it, and then you would pour a bunch of marbles in, and then you would rotate the thing, and then each person had to take a turn pulling out a different stick, and the goal was to not have the least number of marbles at the end of the game. So you would pull out sticks and then try to not have the marbles fall into your little vessel. So I had that one. Obviously Hungry Hungry Hippos. That was pretty basic. That was pretty straightforward. I don't think we owned Hungry Hungry Hippos. But I definitely had been to friends' places with Hungry Hungry Hippos. There was an Ice Cube one where you hit it with a hammer. Oh, interesting. I don't know if I remember that one. I remember there was a game with like penguins. I never had the game, but I think I had friends that did. There was like it was like a penguin board game. But I think the penguins like moved up and down and stuff. Let me see. Penguin childhood board game. Yeah, penguin pile up. Pile up penguins. Yeah. I think it was this one. But I don't entirely remember what it was. Yeah, like a penguin race game. What's the Ice Cube one, though? I'm intrigued. Ice Cube board game. Oh, that's cool. Was it? No, that's not that one. No, this one uses real ice. Did it use real ice? I don't think so. This one, break the ice, probably. Was it this one? Don't break the ice. Yeah! This does look familiar to me. Yeah, because Cootie Games was like the one who did all the games. Let's see. Cootie Games. Don't break the ice. Don't spill the beans. Ants in the pants. That's so fun. But yeah, one year, actually it wasn't like recently. It was like probably 2019. My mother-in-law got pop-up pirates for all of her sons for Christmas, so all the families, so we each got a pop-up pirate. I never had pop-up pirate growing up, but that was fun. Playing that as an adult, I quite enjoyed that. That's another one though, that's a bit of an anxiety-inducing one, because you put the swords in and you don't know when he's gonna pop up. You don't know. Yeah, there are lots of fun board games. I feel like now, like, I get it because obviously, like, we're adults and stuff, but now, like, board games for adults can be very complicated. Like, you know, like Civilization and, like, the pandemic, and we got one, and it was quite fun, but it's, like, a steep learning curve. It was called Terraforming Mars. Liam and I played it, and it was enjoyable. But yeah, like, games now, they can just be, and I'm like, man, I just want to play me some Don't Wake Daddy. You know, like, I just want to play some Kerplunk. Like, let's just keep it basic and silly, you know? Let's not overcomplicate it with, like, strategy and shit. Yeah, exactly. Like, I don't mind, like, because to be fair, there are a lot of interesting games, like strategy, like big board games and whatever, but it's like you need to know somebody who already knows. Like, me trying to learn to teach other people this complicated ass board game's not gonna happen. If I join a game where somebody already knows what they're doing and can explain it, then it can be a lot of fun. But yeah. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. No, I'm a big fan of board games too, but again, when they take it difficult. There's one that Liam and I play, and it's called Forbidden Island or something, and it's a strategy game, so you have to work together to try to escape the island before it floods. And that one's fun. Because there is strategy, but like it's a bit smaller scale. But yeah, I just might need to go on like a nostalgic board game thing. Like, I want to play little kid board games. I don't want to play adult board games. They're too much. Okay, that's the length we want, but it's not the girth that we want. see if we can get this last one done in the next, what is it, like 6 minutes? 6, 7 minutes. So, not bad, not bad. So if I got to making and finishing that OC I was talking about last time, I thought earned any brownie points. I don't know if you were talking about an OC before. I don't know if this was like way previously. But you'll get brownie points if you tell me about the OC now. Because no, I don't think last time you talked about it. We were too busy ranting about work-life balances. But that's amazing that you finished that. Still doesn't feel thick enough. But maybe it doesn't matter. Yeah. Oh. I don't know then. But yes, you get brownie points. Always. Long story short, he's based off my avatar in Pokemon Scarlet, and I even have a name for him, which is a lot more creative than I put into consideration. Yeah, that's cool. Oh, that's amazing. So I think I'm not sure. So like when you make like an OC, like make an original character, is the goal of that to like put them in a video game, to like write stories with them, to, you know what I mean? Like I never know when people create original characters. I guess it depends on the person, right? Like I'm sure there's writers that create original characters, there's like game developers that create original characters, and so each of their original characters will then have a different purpose, you know what I mean? But do you have big plans for your OC? Is what I'm asking, I guess. And what are those plans? This one's a little lumpy bumpy. It's okay. It's weird because it's like really firm here, and then there's like a pocket of chunk over here. Oh well, it's fine. You can attach him, and then I'm wondering if I can then snake some of this back over here maybe. His name is Castaño, which is the Spanish word for auburn, which is a shade of red, and the game's called Pokemon Scarlet. And also red is very oh, that's cool. I like that. I like that. I like those sorts of, I know they're not technically like Easter eggs, but just that like almost like attention to detail and world building where it's like these are all these little things that are, yeah, I think that's really cool. Also, the Playdia region, which Pokemon Scarlet takes place in, is based off of Spain. Oh, that's really cool. So you're like employing like lore in order to create that. That's really cool. Oh, I want to move him over. You're a little bit too off the beaten path for me. Okay, we didn't end up getting an opportunity to sort of fill this guy out a bit more, but I think that should be okay. Yeah. If anyone has any raid suggestions, let me know. If not, we'll go and see which of our fabulous friends is currently online, and we will go and say hello. We will be back here on Thursday, finishing up this little fairy circle. And then I'm assuming if we can probably finish him within the first little bit, and then we can start a different one. We can start maybe our chonky bullet one. Okay. I do know of a fellow mushroom brethren that's up your alley. Oh, okay. Well, I love fellow mushroom friends. So yeah, feel free. Let me know what they're doing, what their name is. We'll go check them out. Go and say hello. Oh, jeez. We've got one more. I might as well get the... So the other option too, maybe what I'll do actually is maybe. I don't know. I was gonna say the other option is I could finish this, and then if I finish this tomorrow, then Thursday, maybe we can do some like watercolor painting, because I'm trying to work a bit more on that. I don't know if what I want to do, I don't know. It might take up 3 hours of my time. Maybe it will. It should. We'll see. But yeah, maybe we'll do that. Maybe we will change schedule and...
It's tea time.
His name is Mainbound and he's friends with one of my day ones, so this can't possibly go wrong. Okie dokie. Thank you so much for that. Okay, Mainbound. Let's go and check them out. Oh, they're a VTuber playing Warhammer 40,000. Interesting, interesting. Oh wow, he's a buff mushroom with a mustache. You weren't kidding. Yeah, absolutely. You weren't. Interesting, interesting. Well, we have to. We have to. From one, yeah. From one mushroom fan to a literal mushroom. Let's go and see him. Just because I'm so intrigued. That, wow, I'm fascinated. I'm fascinated. Let's go make an actual mushroom friend, you guys. This is wild. I'm excited. It's gonna be good. And I'm like, my brother likes Warhammer, so that's my only reference point to that, but that's okay. We are learning, we are expanding, we are trying new things, getting involved. I'm just so freaking stoked to meet a mushroom man. Truly. This is gonna be wild. Oh. Alright. I will see you guys on Thursday for maybe more needle felting, maybe some painting. Who knows? Bye!
oh, I see. I see. Ah, that's how I died. Oh, this is how I died. Okay. Fuck. Oh, fuck. Okay. Okay. Motherfucker. Motherfucker. That's evil. That's fucking evil, dude. Yo, Nostalgia Dash, thank you for the raid, dude. What's up? Welcome in, Raiders. That's freaking evil, my guy. Raid 8 times.